Greg McLeod once again, and we are in the playoffs. 2018 BCFC playoff semifinal game to face it off is the BI Raiders and your Langley Rams. Introducing the officials for today's matchup: referee Heath Ellison, umpire Chandler, head linesman Jeff Hewitt, line judge Jeff, side judge Izzy Steen, ball judge Hans Vanderdoe, and field judge Kevin McWilliams.
Good afternoon, football fans. That was Miss Mackenzie Duffel with my all-time favorite song, Oh Canada, and it means it's time to go here from McLeod Athletic Park. Welcome to BCFC TV, powered by Treeland Remax. It's playoff time, people, and it's the Langley Rams taking on the Vancouver Island Raiders. Jake Elliott, Tyler McLaren, the president of the BCFC, with me riding shotgun for color today. And Tyler, these two teams met a week ago, 27-10 the final, but they split the season series. Back in week 3, it was a 35-34 victory for Vancouver Island in that one. Maybe a game that Langley let slip away in the fourth quarter, but anytime these two teams met, this will be the first time these two teams meet in the semifinal in Langley, because I know you got a little history there that you maybe want to cover before we get going.
Absolutely, and these two teams, they do have a rich playoff history, and dating back all the way to the Raiders' inauguration in 2005. That actually was the last time the Rams back then, the South Fraser Rams, defeated the Raiders at Caledonia Park. So they have met a total in the playoffs of 8 times, with 4 of them being in the semifinal games. All 4 have been played in Nanaimo, so the Rams holding a 1-3 record against the Raiders. So I think all that history stuff is really interesting, but these two teams have a real rich playoff history and a lot of success, of course, with the Raiders having 3 national championships under their belts in recent memory as well. So expecting a good football game today between 2 pretty even matched teams, and football is definitely in the air, and playoff football is definitely in the air.
Rams finish in second place in the regular season. They go 7-3, but the hottest team in the BCFC right now, winners of their last 6. And Vancouver Island just a game behind at 6-4. They're coming off a pretty good victory over the Valley Huskers, a game that they needed to win to get into this spot that they're in now. 22-14, the final in that one. And I went back to 2 weeks ago in a game that Langley held the Vancouver Island Raiders offense scoreless. There was a safety, there was a kickoff return, and a single in that game, and that made up the 10 points for Vancouver Island in that game. But one player they did not have in their lineup for that contest was Rhett Williams, who went off big time last week against Valley for over 200 yards rushing. He'll be in the lineup today for Vancouver Island, and that's the guy that Langley really needs to stop here today.
Absolutely. I think everything that the Raiders do offensively is geared around setting up that running game, which then leads you to get the play action stuff with Jake LeBerge, Mike West, and that vaunted passing game. So I think having Rhett Williams back in this game, playing here where he didn't play a couple weeks back, is huge for the Raiders. Weather won't be a factor as it's a gorgeous day today, but anytime you can get the leading rusher in the league back on the field, that's a big plus for their offense.
Not a cloud in the sky here over top of McLeod Athletic Park. The wind, absolutely nothing to speak of as the flags lay limp down in the southern side of the stadium here, as Langley will wear their home blues with the white helmets. The Vancouver Island Raiders will be in their whites with the red and black trim. Head coach is Doug Hawking for the Raiders. It's Howie Zaron for Langley, and of course he took over about midway through the season and has really got this Rams unit pointed in the right direction heading into the playoffs. I mentioned winners of their last 6 and the hottest team in the BCFC right now. The other matchup in the semifinal, we'll see Valley up in the Apple Bowl to take on the Okanagan Sun tomorrow afternoon. That should be a whale of a football game as well. I know lots of fans tuned in here from the island on BCFC TV, powered by Treeland Remax and Kahunaverse.com for all your needs. Football equipment, pads, cleats, jerseys, you name it. Visit Kahunaverse.com. Set to go, Rams will receive. As Max Joseph did not play last week, he is not back to return the kick. Aglinetto back there, as they got it teed up and just about set to go. Liam Stewart. It's Horton that will kick off the place kicking duties here. And kick it off, let's play some football, as it's angled towards the sideline, and that's going to be a procedure call right off the get-go here for the Raiders. Not what you're looking for on the opening kick of the game. I know the return game's been pretty good for Langley this season, but you never want to start a game kicking the ball out of bounds off the opening kick, and Langley will have good field position here to start this semifinal.
Yeah, good start for the Rams. It looked like the Raiders were trying to place that ball right in the corner and set up a wall, if you will, to stop that return from happening. But unfortunately for the Raiders, the ball goes out of bounds, and the Rams will have good field position to start here, scrimmaging from their own 40-yard line.
So out comes Duncan Little, 187 completions on 307 attempts this year, 18 touchdowns to go along with 11 interceptions. He'll work up under center with an I formation in the backfield. Joe Carter Jr. is the deep man, as he got 4 receivers out there, as Katoy will start towards the line. It'll be a handoff to Carter. He'll run off left guard, and stacked up pretty quickly, maybe a yard on that first down carry. As really, it always comes down to the line of scrimmage, Tyler McLaren. Who can win that battle in the trenches on both sides of the football? Usually going to come out victorious in football game.
Absolutely, and the Rams have a couple BCFC All-Stars on their offensive line. They're young, but they're very, very big and very aggressive. And the Raiders' defensive line has an All-Star as well, so it should be a very physical game between those two lines of scrimmage. And usually, they end up whoever wins that battle often wins the football game.
Lots of boys sporting pink for Cancer Awareness Month down there, as well as Little out of the shotgun this time. 3 receivers to the high wide side. Little to throw, lots of time in the pocket, floats one over the top. Intended for Javon Catoy, but deflected and incomplete. A quick 2 and out here for Langley to start the game, and the Raiders defense gets off the field.
Yeah, you see the coverage here on Catoy, and that I expect him to get a lot of attention, as there are about 2 or 3 Raiders close by. So obviously Javon Catoy is a big part of the Rams' passing attack, and I expect the Raiders defense to be paying extra close attention to him.
And now Javon Catoy will punt here with the departure of Matias Bueno. A few weeks ago, Javon Catoy has taken over punting duties, and he's got a pretty unique punting style. Just watch the ball flight here of Catoy. It makes it very difficult to catch these punts. They go super high as they'll put a leg into it. This one an end over ender as Braun, a very dangerous return man, brings it in at the 27, and he's wrapped up quickly at the 35. That's good downfield coverage there from the Langley special teams unit, and that's where the Raiders will start their opening possession from, just over the 35-yard line.
Yeah, good downfield coverage by the Rams there, holding Braun to a short return, and now we get a chance to see a defense that for the Rams that's been playing very, very well as of late. And some may boast that it might be the best in the conference, although I'm sure a couple other teams will make that distinction as well. But the numbers don't lie, and the Rams defense has been playing very well in recent weeks.
LeBerge will bring out the Raiders here. He's got 19 touchdowns this season, but 17 interceptions to go along with it, and 10 over the last 3 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. He'll throw on first down. Here comes pressure. LeBerge flushed out, buys some time, and then just fires it out of bounds at the Raiders sideline as nobody was open. And really, we mentioned on the other side, Duncan Little on that last time, although he had an incompletion, had lots of good protection there. LeBerge, not so much time to find his open receiver and had to get rid of the football.
Yeah, the pressure came from LeBerge's left, and that forced him to flush out to the right. So good pressure by the Rams, forcing the incompletion as LeBerge was under siege there and just had to get rid of the ball.
They go aggressive on first down, and now surely a passing down here on 2nd and 10. From the 36 on the right hash mark. 3 receivers high, wide side, 2 to the short, and 1 in the backfield here for LeBerge as he waves him ahead. Here comes Langley off the edge. Pass intended for West. And getting a hand in there was Kyle Clarat. And he knocked it to the turf, and both teams go 2 and out here to start this game.
Yeah, Mike West is going to be a dynamic receiver for the Raiders today. But you can see there, just as Catoy was getting extra attention from the Raiders, you're going to get the same type of attention for play there. Stepping in front of it, read that very well, knocking it down, bringing up 3rd down.
Probably put their best defensive back in Clarat on West, who had 9 touchdowns and almost 1,000 yards receiving this season. Here's the kick from Hunchak, and he is probably the best in the BCFC at kicking the football. There's a fumble on the reception there, but Langley able to get back on top of it there. A little sketchy from Jacob Ferlot, but made the play and keeps possession here for the Rams as they'll start this drive from the 35.
Yeah, the Rams are excited to have Jake Ferlot back in the lineup. Obviously, he's a great defensive back for them, adding to a very good secondary, but also the return game where they're hoping he can help as well and maybe spell Max Joseph, give him a break because I know Max has been nursing an injury recently.
Yeah, a little dinged up, did not play against the Broncos, and not the best performance of the year for Langley against those Broncos. They did get past him 26-22. Here's Little to throw on first down. He looks deep down this near sideline, one-on-one with Catoy, and he goes up for it, couldn't bring it in. He probably would have been out of bounds as well, but Little spotted 15 with a one-on-one matchup, and he's going to go to the air every time he sees that.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting matchup. I mean, Catoy's obviously very tall, so that gives him an advantage, but that ball just kind of drifted to the sidelines, and even if he was able to come down, I think you're right that I don't think he was going to be able to get his feet down and secure a big gain for the Rams.
Well, they look deep on first down. This brings up 2nd and 10. Carter and Cusker in the backfield here on either side of Duncan Little out of the shotgun. Crouches down. Raiders show blitz. They come. crossing pattern. Aglinetto makes the catch, but I think he's going to be about a yard, maybe 2 short here. And maybe closer to 3 after the spot. And Langley, in their own zone, will bring out the punt team here. They're not going to gamble this early in a scoreless game.
Yeah, on that second down play was interesting because the Raiders actually paid a little bit more attention. They isolated Katoya to him by himself on the near side here, and on the first down play they basically put McNally Hardesty on him one-on-one. That time you see the safety Sean Arabsky coming over to help, kind of eliminating Javon from that particular play.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. They've kind of moved Javon around a little bit. They've worked him out of the slot. They've worked him out of the wide side. I think he's most effective when he's coming across the field rather than heading straight down it, and let his athleticism do the work after catching the football, I think, is where he's most dangerous. We'll see if they find ways to get him the football. And over-end punt again here from Katoy. Braun steps up on it at the 34. And again, Langley downfield quickly will wrap up at the 37 as the Raiders will get their second chance on offense here with just about 4 minutes gone in this first quarter. This is the BCFC semifinal as the winner will either take on the Okanagan Sun or the Valley Huskers a week from today.
Yeah, I thought both teams might try and establish the run a little bit more than they have, but so far pretty similar starts for both offenses and conversely both defenses. So we'll see if the Raiders try and involve Rhett Williams here on the second possession.
Yeah, we mentioned Rhett Williams did not play a week or 2 weeks ago against Langley, but did play last week and had a huge game. And here he is on his first touch of the game, and a nice job there from the Langley defense to limit him to just a yard as they strung out that play nicely and wrapped up 24.
Yeah, Kyle Clarat, you'll see on the replay here, Kyle Clarat comes from his defensive back position just off the, they tried to run off the left side, and Clarat very quickly up there filling on a great play from the defensive backfield.
There's beautiful form tackling there from Clarat as you get the replay right here on BCFC TV. The boys downstairs at 10 Feet Sports and Entertainment producing and doing a bang-up job as always. Second and 9 now. Here's Braun across the formation. Little play action. LeBerge. Good time. An out. A deep one. A flag down. A completion made across the 50. Another flag comes in. And I think this is going to be a late hit against the Rams as the Raider coaching staff taunting the Langley players a little bit after taking that penalty.
Yeah, I don't think that was really necessary for the Rams defense there. You could see he was out of bounds on the replay as well if we get a chance to look at it. I think the original penalty might be, it's going to be probably pass interference. I just don't know if there was any push off. We'll see it on the replay, but might be both penalties headed against the Rams in this case, I think. But the referees will be conversing here, and you can see on the replay, definitely out of bounds on the play. No need for Klassen there to give the extra throwdown there on the Raider receiver.
Well, let's see where they spot the football. It's all the way up at the 44-yard line here of Langley. So it was illegal contact and then unnecessary roughness. And that moves the ball all the way into Langley territory here at the 44-yard line. Raiders on the move here with their second possession. Have a 1st and 10. As the shadows just starting to creep across McLeod Athletic Park field here. And probably by late third quarter, the shadows will have engulfed the entire surface as LeBerge will go up under center. They'll fake the handoff and give it to Williams. They'll make a nice cut, a flag down at the 45.
I think you're going to think flags are on the play. I think the Raiders didn't have an end, so I think this might be a legal procedure, although they're pointing in the Ram direction. It is offside against the Rams, so maybe lined up in the neutral zone. But you can see a lot of early motion when the Raiders are trying to run in the ball with the misdirection plays and people coming across the formation trying to get the Ram defenders to move with them.
And always penalties, discipline going to be a huge factor here in a playoff game. And right now, Langley helping out this Raider drive with 3 straight penalties here. So it's a 1st and 5 now after the offside call. As LeBerge up under center once again. And it's a handoff to Williams, trying to bounce it to the outside. Good speed out there, taken down maybe a yard short of the 1st down marker.
Yeah, so far you can see the Raiders so far when they've tried to run, they seem to be trying to go to the left-hand side, hoping to get the Rams' right-hand side of their defense to collapse. And the Raiders did a very good job there of collapsing the Rams' defensive line there and letting Rhett Williams get the corner.
One thing you want to do with Rhett Williams is make sure you got contain out on those edges. As if 24 can get to the outside and turn the corner, you can forget about it. You're not going to catch him from behind. Second and short here. And LeBerge moves back in the shotgun, press coverage out on the edge. It's a handoff, good hole. Stiff arm riding, and here comes help. And I don't know. Let's check the spot here, Tyler. They had to get to the 34 for a first down.
Yeah, it looks like he's got that by probably about a yard or so.
Well, they do.
Good push by the Raiders offensive line. And again, they're starting, now that particular play, you start to see the power of Rhett Williams. And he's a big guy, but I mean, he is fast. And I know Coach Hawking was raving about him and his speed last week against the Huskers. And now you just saw his power there.
He is fun to watch. Clock running. 8:30 to go here in the first quarter. It's a 1st and 10 for the Raiders. Here's that same motion again. LeBerge look for Braun. He wasn't open. Here comes pressure, and LeBerge just gets rid of the football wisely there, as there was 3 Rams into the backfield quickly and forced another throwaway for Jake LeBerge.
Yeah, good pressure there by the Rams defensive line. That time again coming from Jake's left, and then forced him to sprint out to the right, and all he could do there was get rid of the ball and lift a fight on second down here.
Well, a big play here now for both teams. It's a 2nd and 10. Ball is on the 31-yard line here of Langley, as they'll work from the right hash mark. 3 receivers, check it, make it 4 out to the high wide side. Just a single Mike West down low here as they'll look to that wide side. It's fired, it's complete.
Oh, I think he dropped it. I think he knocked it outside.
Oh, he did. A well-timed hit knocked that ball loose, as a well-thrown ball from LeBerge put it right on the numbers, but the contact came quickly and jarred that ball free. Couldn't go to the ground with it. And Langley holds on defense here, brings up a 3rd and 10. And what do they? They'll bring out the punt team here and try and pin Langley deep.
Yeah, you can see on the replay there, Joel Klassen came off of his receiver and actually made a great play dislodging the ball, or otherwise that was going to be pitch and catch for the Raiders and first down deep inside the Ram territory.
Klassen, the converted wide receiver. Here comes the kick from Hunchak, angles it towards this near sideline and spins it out of bounds beautifully at the 3-yard line. You cannot do it any better right there than Hunchak.
No, Nick Hunchak's been around for a couple of years now. Came actually from the Saskatoon Hilltops to the Raiders last season, and they rave about him. Last year he was actually a BCFC All-Star as well, and Nick's been around for a while, for a couple of years now, and the Raiders love what he can do. He was a big difference last year in the BC final in Victoria, where the field position battle played out quite well.
Well, it's such a huge factor and luxury to have when you have a kicking game like that can do those type of things and pin you deep. As Langley backed up all the way to the 4 here to start this drive, but they did get off the field without allowing any points, and now let's see what Little and company can do here on their 3rd possession. Looks like man-to-man coverage here for the Raiders. Little counter trap to Joe Carter Jr. Carter stays on his feet, then gets hammered right at the line of the scrimmage and driven backwards as the Raider defense steps up. I think that was 46 on the tackle. Matthew Cox, one of the leaders in tackling on this Raider defensive team.
Yeah, the Raiders flowed very well to the ball there. Rams tried to pull a couple guys around the corner, but the Raiders just followed the big guys, and they usually take you to where the ball's going to go, so great flow by the Raider defense.
Imagine Max Joseph nicked up against the Broncos last week. Have not seen number 2 in the lineup as of yet for Langley. And he's noticeably absent as Little under center. He'll hand off to Carter. Good hole up the middle. And Carter's got a first down here for Langley as they get away from the shadows of their end zone. That's a big play there for the Rams.
Very big play there by the Langley offense. If they don't get a first down there, I suspect the Rams would be conceding a safety and putting the Raiders on the board first. So huge play on second down from the Rams, like you said, getting out of their own, in the shadows of their own goalposts and moving the sticks.
And how about the play call from Howie Zeron to call a run on a 2nd and 10 there deep in your own zone? Maybe conservative, but maybe catching Vancouver Island a little off guard, staying on the ground there.
Absolutely. I think they were looking for the pass there, and a great call by the Rams, moving the sticks and getting offensive momentum going.
Little likes to work from under center. All the motion goes to the right. Here's the pitch back to the left. Good spin move from Aguinetto, but he's wrapped up quickly, and this one's going to go backwards here for Langley.
Yeah, Brody Taylor here, number 98 for the Raiders, made a great play. Didn't fall for the misdirection going away from him. You can see there he stays exactly what he's supposed to do, and the ball came back to his direction. He made a great play for the Raiders defense.
Staying in your lane, they say, keeping your assignment.
Yeah, coaches always use the old saying, just do your job, and if everybody does their job, good things work out for you.
Ball is on the 13-yard line here. Got to get out to the 28 for a first down. So a long way to go here on second down for Langley. And they're deep in their own zone. Dangerous play coming up here for the Rams. 3 to the high side. Here's Little to throw. No drop. Time in the pocket. Now he's going to scramble. Good protection to the sideline. Katoy couldn't go high enough for it. Was probably going to be just a little short of the first down anyway, and Langley's going to have to kick this ball away. As the Langley offense not quite clicking here. Give the Raider defense some credit early in this football game as well, as these two teams settle into this semifinal playoff game.
Yeah, I think Duncan had Javon Katoy if he saw him just a hair earlier, because Katoy was open right along the sidelines, and if Duncan had saw him maybe a split second earlier, Javon might have been able to make a play and maybe break a tackle for a first down.
So we haven't seen a good punt yet from Javon, as they've both been end-over-enders. He'll need one here as he stands on his own goal line to kick this one away. Or will he kick it away is the question, I suppose. And he will not. He'll just step back and take a knee, and Langley will play a little field position here in this first quarter. They'll give up the safety. It's 2-0 Vancouver Island as the Raiders get on the board first.
Yeah, I think that's a smart play for the Rams. It's early in the game, so conceding the 2 points, they're pretty confident in what their defense can do. So I think it's a good decision by the Rams, and then all of a sudden you can put your defense in not quite a short a field if the Raiders elect to take the ball or have the Rams kick it off.
Mention off the top, these two teams split the season series. 35-34 victory for the Raiders back at Caledonia Park in Week 3 in a game that they ripped off 4 touchdowns in about a 10-minute span to steal that one away from the Rams. But then just a couple of weeks ago in Week 9, 27-10, the final for the Rams that kept the Raider offense off the board all afternoon long. But they give up the safety here, so that streak continues as that one was surrendered by Katoy. Now Langley with the free kick from the 35 will give it back to Vancouver Island. Here with 4:53 to go in this first quarter. And it's Sheelan to boot it. Drives the leg in down to the 25. Braun on the return up the far sideline. Trying to stay in bounds and gets another 6, 7, 8 yards, tiptoeing that far sideline. And pretty decent field position here for the Raiders to start this drive.
Yeah, good return there for Braun, and the Raiders get good field position about their own 40-yard line. So good field position in for the Raiders. And being the road team, I think they're probably pretty happy with this start. Coming over from the island and coming over today, I think they'll be quite happy with the first 10 minutes of this game being the road team and getting an early start and getting their feet underneath them.
Always important. As they'll work from the left hash mark right at the 40-yard line here for the Raiders in the sunshine. As West split wide to this near side. Everybody bunched up over on that left side. As Langley digs in on the defensive line, showing 4. They bring pressure off the edge. It's Williams. He's going to be wrapped up and dropped deep in the backfield. And that'll be a loss of about 8.
Yeah, really nice play by the Rams there by number 26, Anthony Blackwell. And I know the coaches rave about him on the defensive side of the ball. Hasn't played the whole year for the Rams. Came in a little bit into the season, but since he has come over and came from UBC, he's been an absolute stud on the defense for the Rams, making plays like that.
One of those guys that just always seems to be around the football.
Yeah, no question about that. If he had I would think he would have been an all-star for sure had he been able to play all 10 games this season.
Going to get to the 50 for a first down here for the Raiders. As LeBears with an empty backfield will gun it over the middle. It's tipped up. And maybe a little case of the alligator arms there, Tyler, as didn't quite reach up the way he should have or could have for that ball, knowing the hit was going to come. That was Brett Ablett.
Yeah, the safety was in a good position. He was coming up towards him, so he wasn't chasing. So safety for the Rams in a good position, and I don't disagree with you on that one. I think a little bit of alligator arms. But in today's game, it's a case where you got to tell your receivers that the game is designed to protect the receiver. So in that case, you might as well catch it and secure it for your team.
I think that was the message right there from Doug Hawking as Ablett came off the field. End over end kick here for Hunchak. And Langley will just fall on the football. Late flag comes in for a block in the back, I think, and an unnecessary one again, as I think Langley maybe just a little too amped up here on their home field in this playoff game. Not quite playing within the boundaries so far. We've seen a late hit out of bounds, now a late block in the back as well, and this is going to back the Rams up to start this drive.
Yeah, you might be right. It also might be a no yards, though, looking at where the returner alertly jumped on the ball, so we'll see what the referees come up with. which direction they might be pointed. You definitely saw a Raider. It is no yards call, so the Rams might have got away with one because I saw what you did too. Where there was
a guy went down right at the end of the play, and it's going to happen. But I thought maybe a late hit in the back, but no, it is a no yards and just the 5-yard variety as that ball on the turf before a Ram touched it.
Good alert play, though, jumping on that ball and getting an extra 5 yards to the offenses. They're now around their own 50.
And this is the best field position of the day here for the Rams, starting from their own 50-yard line. On the right hash mark, Carter, again the deep man, still no Max Joseph in the game. Little, up under center. Here comes the motion to the line. Katoy, he's got a head of steam coming across it. Play action, Little looks deep, still buying some time. Now he's spun down and wrapped up and sacked by the Raiders. As the internal clock there for Little must have been going off, but didn't see anybody open downfield and just decided to eat that one and take the sack. And sometimes that's not the worst idea.
No, good coverage there by the Raiders, and the Rams definitely with the running that they were trying to do early were trying to set up the home run there, and the Katoy was running a post down the field. So I think they were trying to hit the home run there with setting up and getting the play action. But good job by the Raiders. They squeezed the pocket really well there and create a loss for the Rams.
That was Doyle Westland in on the sack there for VI. And it brings up a 2nd and 15 from the 45-yard line now for Little and Langley. Little with a 5-step drop. Over the middle it comes. Completion made. Can he break a tackle, Stewart? No, he can't, as he gets almost to the midfield stripe, but will be about 6 yards short. There's again a nice job there from the Raider defense to get off the field and force Langley into a punting situation.
Yeah, good play call there. You can see Liam Stewart coming, running a drag across the field. Little was probably checking down to him as he was looking for something a little deeper to get a first down. But Liam Stewart has been playing really well for the Rams. I know they've been quite happy with him at late in the season, making a lot of plays, a lot of catches, and big ones there. But unfortunately for him, wasn't able to get the first down and move the chains.
And sometimes you try and get the ball into one of your playmakers and make him make a man miss and pick up the first down that way. So I'm not sure if that was the primary or the secondary read. Regardless, it came up short. Here's a better kick from Katoy. Look at the spiral on this one as it drives him all the way back to the 7-yard line. A little wary of out-kicking the coverage with the speedy Braun, but again, Langley, a fantastic job downfield. Wrap up Braun quickly. It was about a 6-yard return after a 50-yard kick from Javon Katoy.
Yeah, great downfield coverage by the Rams teams there, and Braun's very fast. So, I mean, if he gets the corner, look out, as we saw in the game one, we returned for a touchdown here. So great job by the Rams defense. You can see a trend, too, where they're trying to set the returns up to the left. So not sure if that's his preference or if that's just the way the ball bounces, so to speak. But a lot of returns Raiders seem to be setting up to their left and the Rams right.
Minute and a half to go in this opening quarter. 2-0 Raiders. This is the semifinal, number 1. Huskers and Sun tomorrow from the Apple Bowl. It's a 1st and 10 here for LaBerge. He'll hand off to Braun. Trying to get the corner here. And unable to stay in bounds. How many yards did he pick up? Close to a first down, they'll say here for Braun. I think he's got it.
Yeah, by my eyes, too, it looks like he did get the corner. That last little lunge there by Braun was able to pick up enough yards for the first down. And that was a great run by Braun, but the Rams defense, they just didn't. The defender was in a good spot. He just didn't get off the block to be able to make the play.
Well, they've been running that motion, that jet sweep motion for Braun, play after play after play. They haven't given him the ball, and finally they do. And he breaks off about 12 on that carry. In the shadows now from the right hash mark. Ball on the 23-yard line. The fake to Braun, the handoff to Williams. He'll pick his way through the defense for about 4. And I'll bring up a 2nd and 6 as late stages here of quarter number 1. This is the BCFC semifinal on BCFC TV, powered by Treeland Remax. And don't forget, for all your football cleats, shoulder pads, helmets, and accessories, visit Kahuniverse Sports, located in Surrey and online at kahuniverse.com. Langley will put 4 on the line. 2 backers in there, press coverage as everybody creeping toward the line of scrimmage. They set up a screen, but incomplete as Charles Noye got through and forced LeBears to get rid of the football quickly there, and he couldn't put it on the mark as he had an open man.
Yeah, he definitely had an open man. He just needed another split second, exactly like what you said, and he might have been able to create some space. But good job by the Rams getting the pressure and forcing an incomplete pass, because I think if Jake had another second or maybe even less, he might have been able to complete that pass.
Well, Raider Nation always travels well, and they're out in droves here at McLeod Athletic Park. Just an absolute fantastic crowd and day to take in a football game here in Langley. Hunchak with the kick. Aglianetto stands at his 45, takes in the catch. Aglianetto with a good juke, spins his way out to the midfield stripe, close to it anyway. They'll mark him down just shy of it. And Langley, trailing 2-0 at the end of 15 minutes of play, will flip the field here. This is one of those nice ones, Tyler, where you're not down deep at the 5-yard line. You got to run all the way down to the other end of the field at the end of the court. You're literally at the midfield, so you can just flip around.
That doesn't get much up. The big guys usually like that. They usually like not the big boys like to just turn around and head in the other direction. I know when in games in the past when you got to go all that way, like you said, you can be tired by the time you set the sticks and resume the play in the second quarter.
And for fans that haven't watched a game here from Langley, of course, this year they switched sidelines. Did the Rams usually? For my past 5-6 years, they've been on this near sideline, but for this year, they moved across to the far side of the field.
Yeah, it's a different setup, but I think they want to get away from the crowd and the noise. Distractions and all that stuff, but it has been a change this year and one they've stayed with throughout the course of the home schedule this year.
Ball on the 55-yard line for Little and Langley. Back to throw on first down. Here's the pressure. Look out. Ball comes loose. It's on the deck. Who's got it?
It looks like the Raiders have got that. Raider ball.
Raider football, and I think Duncan Little is down and hurt here in the backfield. Is that number 10 on the deck?
Yeah, Duncan down on that. He was under siege there, and I think it might have even been the second hit that.
And he's clutching his knee here, Tyler, and this does not look good for Duncan Little.
No, that's they were trying to set up there was a little bit of a pick play they were trying to set up, and again, just not enough time, but Raiders were in there fast, and the Rams will definitely be holding their breath here as Duncan's down on the turf.
Well, they have got Yantu some action over the last couple of weeks. Yeah, it looks like he's going to need to come into the game. It won't be right away after the turnover here. It's going to be Raider football inside Langley territory at the 49, but right now, the real concern is for their starting quarterback, and almost a worst-case scenario you could think of here for the Langley Rams, your starting pivot going down early in this football game.
Yeah, and combine that with the fact that we still really haven't seen Max Joseph yet for the Rams, and those are two big offensive weapons, especially when you can only, as playoffs roll around, and you can only dress 45 men. I mean, having one in Max who might be saved for later on in this game, and now with Duncan down, that puts pressure on a lot of those guys that are dressed that are able to come in.
What's your strategy on that, Tyler? If you got a guy that's a little dinged up, do you wait and see how the game plays out and whether you use him, maybe look to next week? I mean, it is a playoff game. Do you not get him in the game early, see what you can get out of him, and worry about everything else later?
Yeah.
That's kind of a bit of a chess game in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, my philosophy when I coach, we would always try and take the approach of if you can get a guy in there, if he's healthy enough to go and get some clearance and everything else, is get him in the game, get him, see how he feels, and if you can be fortunate enough to get up on your opponent and use him get some rest later in the game, then that's usually a winning formula as you get close to looking at the potential the following week. So I'm a little surprised we have Max's dressed, but I'm a little surprised we haven't seen him yet, but maybe something in the warm-up didn't agree with him or tweak something.
So Little hobbles off to Langley's sideline. We'll keep an eye on that situation as here comes LeBears and the Raiders. They want to look for the home run right off the get-go. West is open, and he's got the catch down at the 25-yard line. As I think everybody was expecting a run on that first down play. They go to the air, and it's the connection that's been working all year long here for Vancouver Island. Jake LeBears to Mike West.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Jake Furlaud was on the cover there. I'm not sure if he was thinking that his safety was going to be over top on that one, because he almost stopped and kind of stuttered as he covered him, and not sure if he thought help was going to be over top in that particular case, but he definitely stopped or potentially was peeking in the backfield.
So it's a 1st and 10. Fake the handoff, give it to Williams, cutting his way through the Rams defense, picking up close to 4.
Good positive yards there.
And it's just such another added dimension that we did not see a couple of weeks ago here in Langley with Rhett Williams not in the football game. You have to account for number 24 every time they snap the football.
Yeah, and you see a trend. If you're watching at home, watch the trend. I think that's every play that he's ran the ball, he's gone to the Raiders' left. So I know Trayvon Weasel Traveler is the left tackle there, so he's a force on the left-hand side.
Here's a second down play. They go into the end zone, and open there is Braun for the touchdown. Looked like a bit of a push-off in the end zone for Braun, but it will count, and what a strike thrown there from Jake LeBerge. And it's now 8-0 with the extra point to come.
Yeah, big play there by the Raiders offense, and there was some separation there. There's actually two defensive backs there for the Rams, and I thought originally they might be able to pick that ball off, but I think the DB left his feet a little bit early there, and the ball was able to fall into Braun's hand for a touchdown, increasing the lead for the Raiders, which is a great start for them in the semifinal game.
They'll line up for one here. I thought they might go for two, but they will line up for the single. And drive it right through the uprights and right over the track. And it's now 9-0 Vancouver Island to start this semifinal football game here. 13-15 here to go in this second quarter. And a perfect road start here, really, if you're a Vancouver Island Raider fan. You got the 9-0 lead. You've taken the crowd out of it here at McLeod Athletic Park. The starting quarterback, Duncan Little, has just been injured. Everything going Vancouver Island way right now. Yeah,
definitely. Everything has gone the Raider way so far. And sometimes a lot of coaches will play that to their team when you're on the road. You don't have as many distractions. You're kind of come in with the whole underdog mentality. And if you're the Raiders, you're probably you're feeding that type of thought process. And if you're the Rams, you're probably on that side of the field, probably say, okay, guys, not the greatest start, but it's a 60-minute game, and barring some injuries, even with the injuries, they obviously have some talent there that can get back in this game pretty quick because their offense has been playing well of late.
Yeah, really 9-0. Nothing to panic about at this juncture of the football game, especially here in the BCFC.
No, you could score pretty fast in any Canadian football game, so 9-0 Rams will be fine.
Low line drive kick right into the breadbasket of Aglinetto. He's across the 20, he's across the 30, and then wrapped up about the 32-yard line. And let's see who comes off the Rams sideline here to play quarterback for Langley.
I think we're trying to see a number there in that massive humanity in the Ram huddle, but I think I do see Tristan Yancey, I believe. Trying to see on the far side if Duncan Little's being attended to.
I'm trying to see somebody come out of the pack there. It is Yansu.
Yeah, now we can see him. He's got the white long sleeves, so we'll be able to spot him now.
Short and stocky quarterback. Goes with two in the backfield, three to this near wide side. And he will throw on first down as he spins the pigskin in his hands, looks deep down to Katoy. Oh, he had it right in his hands and dropped it.
Yeah, perfect throw by Yansu right off the bat, looking for Katoy. There was three guys there, but you can see if we get a replay here, Katoy had it and had separation, and he might have been gone had he been able to pull that one. I think Javon Katoy might not like himself after that particular play.
The usually sure-handed wide receiver for Langley, and he can't throw it any better for Yancey. Put it right in his hands in stride, and if Katoy catches that one, he's off to the house. You're not going to bring him down from behind. It falls incomplete. It's 2nd and 10, and a missed opportunity there for Langley. Let's see what they do here on a 2nd and long. Raiders show blitz, now they back off. Here's Yansu in the pocket, stands in there, looking, finds an open Joe Carter Jr. He's got the first down, jukes a man at the 45, crosses the 50 to the 55. A downed Ram way back in behind the play, had his helmet ripped off at the 20. But Langley, with maybe their best play of the football game, have something going here as they get out to midfield.
Yeah, really good composure here. You see on the replay, Yansu's got time, kind of steps up in the pocket. He was looking downfield for one of his receivers, and then was able to check down to his probably his third read there, which was Joe Carter out of the backfield for a big play, and just put it in his hands and let his feet do the rest.
So Yansu now the quarterback here for Langley, is Little injured on the last series. As he goes with that I formation, 4 receivers set once again. They'll throw on first down. Yansu, 3-step drop over the middle, ball deflected and falls incomplete. As Langley looking around for a flag on pass interference, nothing coming. It'll be 2nd and 10 once again.
Yeah, ball was tipped there at the line of scrimmage. You can see they were trying to set up a quick throw. They tried to chop block the Raider defensive line and give Yansu, who was a little shorter obviously than Duncan Little, enough eyesight downfield to make a throw to one of his receivers.
And maybe something Langley needs to think about here after that drop from Katoy. Maybe go right back to the big man, get his confidence back, and target him again on a 2nd and 10 here. Let's see what they do with 11:25 clock running. Here's second quarter. Here's the snap. Yansu, 3-step drop again. Looks over the middle, got hit. A flag comes in, and I think the Raiders are going to take a personal foul here as Yansu took one up high. Maybe helmet-to-helmet contact, Tristan McLaren. You tell me.
Yeah, I think it looks like it's going to go with the Raiders. It's either I don't think it was necessarily a late hit, but it might be a face mask from what I could tell, because I don't think it was necessarily late because the ball kind of came out.
There's a personal foul, roughing the passer, and I think it might have been helmet-to-helmet contact as Yansu kind of got up, shaking his head. Let's watch it again here on the replay. Tough to tell from that camera angle as it just got away from us, but it's a big penalty against the Raiders. Their first real major penalty of the game as it moves the ball down to their 40-yard line in Langley. On the move here, trailing 9-0. Yeah, trying to get something going here in the second quarter offensively.
Big break there, but a protection again for the quarterbacks. They're always going to err on the side of caution and give the quarterback the benefit of the doubt.
Yansu under center. He'll hand off to Joe Carter Jr. He'll plow his way through the middle for a good gain on first down for close to 6.
Good positive yards there for the Rams, and I think they're probably, with Duncan Little not in the game, they're probably happy that Tristan Yansu did get a lot of trigger time last week in Kamloops. Even in a close game, the Rams were flipping lots of times between Yansu and Duncan Little, so I think they have confidence in what Yansu can do, and it's not like he hasn't been able to play all season long. He has got the reps and probably gets lots in practice as well.
And not every team has the luxury of Langley that has 2 quarterbacks that they're confident in going to. 2nd and 4 here from the 35. Yansu faked it. He'll throw it. Looks deep to Katoy again. He's got one-on-one out there. Catch is made. Touchdown, Langley.
I think they might call separation here. I'll be curious to see what the referees called.
There's a lot of hand checking going up and down that far sideline here. It's just a question of who they want to call it on. But Javon Katoy made the adjustment to the football. And I think this one might go against the Raiders here, and this one's going to go for 6 for the Langley Rams. And another well-thrown ball from Tristan Yansu.
Yeah, and you called that one exactly right. Go back to the guy who's been making plays all season long. Big play for Katoy. There's definitely some hand fighting, as you see on the replay here. And then sometimes, I've seen it many times, where Katoy's so big that sometimes you don't get the benefit of the doubt. You almost get penalized for being big and in a situation like that. But good call by the officials there for the Rams side of things, and they were able to get on the board.
Wasn't going to drop that one. High snap, got it down, kick is up and through. As Sheelan punches it in. And Langley on the board now, trailing by 2, 9-7. And game on here from McLeod Athletic Park with 10:28 to go in the second quarter.
Yeah, big response for the Rams. They'll be happy. They'll settle down now, and like I say, they've got confidence in Yansu. They can still run the ball with Joe Carter, and he's a great back for this type of situation and can pound out the yards. So
yeah, Carter with 428 yards this season, 6.7 average per carry, go along with 5 touchdowns for Junior. So no slouch in the backfield for Langley, the guy that's been around and through the trials and tribulations here of the BCFC for the last few years as well.
Yeah, Joe in a graduation situation obviously would love to keep playing more home games in the Rams uniform, but hopefully if the stars align for him, he can play a couple more here at McLeod. But he's been a great player for the Rams and very solid, very durable, and they'll be sad to see him leave after this season.
Here comes the kick. Decent one down to the 15. Ball dropped, bouncing around on the deck here, finally picked up. And not much of a return there. And good things usually aren't going to happen here for Goulburn when you bobble the kickoff like that.
No, Rams downfield pretty good. Even after he bobbled it, I thought he was really nonchalant picking the ball up. But Raiders they get decent field position after the kick, scrimmaging at their own 30. But Rams downfield, and that could have been disastrous for the Raiders.
A big series coming up here now for Vancouver Island. After the Langley touchdown, they want to try and get some momentum back on their side. As they'll work from the right hash mark in the sunshine here. As LeBears will go out of the shotgun, waves Braun across the formation. He'll hand off up the middle. Rhett stiff arms a man and picks up close to 4, maybe closer to 5 actually, after falling forward. Another positive gain on first down for Rhett Williams in the Vancouver Island Raiders.
Yeah, you definitely see his impact in this game already. Very, very noticeable and very involved for the Raiders offense. And their hope is that he's able to set things up for everybody else and open up the rest of their offensive playbook.
haven't mentioned yet, if you want to be interactive during the broadcast here on BCFC TV, please feel free to do so. And I'll let you know how to do that after this play, as here's another handoff. And Langley trying to stack it up at the 40. They do, but I don't think they did it quick enough, as I think Williams got just enough yardage to move the chains here for the Raiders.
Yeah, A.J. Blackwell had a chance to make a play there, but you could see the power of Rhett Williams. He was able to shake the tackle as he kind of fell off of it and pick up enough yardage for the first down.
Make sure you're following BCFC_media for all your in-game updates. But if you want to get at yours truly during the broadcast, feel free to do so at PXP, the number 4 Sports. PXP for Sports is where you can find me. Another handoff here to Williams, and wrapped up down low after a 3-yard gain. As they keep feeding the rock to number 24 here, and again, did not play 2 weeks ago, and it was evident for the Raiders in his absence, but last week going for 250 yards plus against the Huskers in week 10.
Yeah, he had a big game in that one, and they just kept feeding him the rock. Good fill there again by Kyle Clarot, and he's made a couple big plays on the run play for the Rams, so good fill from the defensive secondary position.
Ball is on the 43-yard line, just ahead of it. We got a timeout on the field due to an injured Ram down there. I'll pick up the number. I believe it's 35, Cam Cross. And they don't want to lose one of their all-star defensive players as they work, looks like on the lower leg, on the ankle here of Cross, right on the township flag. It's 36, excuse me. That's Colton DeJong. And not to make light of that, but that's much better news for Langley that it's DeJong and not Cross. He's much more of a prominent player, as I see Cross now take a sip of water from the officials.
Yeah, Cross has been very good for the Rams. And that whole defensive line, I mean, Sky King is another one who's been an absolute force, and Charles Nawaye, another one who's been a real good acquisition. And Charles came in late in the season, or at least at the midway point, and he's been an absolute beast for the Rams on the defensive line. So they got a lot of bodies on defense and a lot of guys that played very well, and it shows in their defensive production and how they feel about how this team is constructed with that solid defense that they have.
So DeJong pops up. He'll walk off under his own power. Expect him to be back in this football game. Now Cross. They'll head for the Rams sideline as a late substitution comes in here. It's about a 2nd and 7 for the Raiders. They got to get to the 52-yard line, 51-yard line for a first down. 3 receivers high. LeBears looks to this near side. Guns it down the sideline, step for step, and it's a catch. Down this near sideline is again, it was Furlot that got caught in coverage.
Eli Nelms-Horton with that big catch for the Raiders there. He's a rookie for them, and he's been making lots of plays and been in many conversations for Rookie of the Year potential, and as he just keeps making big catches like that.
And that's twice. Furlot has kind of got his head turned around the wrong way and not really expecting the ball to come his direction. I think he's got the ability to play that one-on-one coverage there. Just got to be a little more disciplined and lock down his man. Big play for the Raiders. Handoff up the middle to Rhett Williams, and he'll pick up close to 6. As the Raiders looking for a penalty call at the end of that play.
Yeah, I think there was a little Academy Award-winning performance there, as I don't even think there was a Ram within a couple feet of him, and yet he fell to the floor for Best Actor award.
I'll just say Tristan Waters a little flamboyant during warm-ups as well, so might have that acting gene in his makeup.
Yes.
As LeBears will go up under center for this second down play. Got to get to the 20. They're about 3 yards shy of that now. LeBears fake the handoff, play action, looks deep over the middle, tipped up and incomplete. Chance for an interception there for Anthony Blackwell, but just slipped through the hands, but does fall incomplete as 2 Raiders collided down at the 5-yard line, and both are very slow to get up. It's Braun. And it's North Rainey, 2 dangerous weapons for the Raiders. A little woozy after that collision right there.
And a late flag on the play as well there that I didn't see until right until my eyes shifted back to the line of scrimmage.
And it's a holding call against the Raiders. Rams will decline that penalty and bring up 3rd and 3 here.
Yeah, North Rainey very slow going to the Raiders bench. That's not good as well. And you can see injuries again when you come back to these 45-man rosters. There's not a lot of depth when you start looking at how many people can fill in here for the offense, defense, or special teams, and a couple key injuries, and that could cause some problems for the coaches as they try and manage this.
So they will line up for a field goal here. Eli Nelms-Horton from the 31-yard line. And good kick there is up and in, and a flag comes in late as well. And is this going to keep the drive alive?
Yeah, absolutely. You saw Eli hit the ground there, and the Ram defender very close by. So I think this is going to be a penalty, and the offense is going to be back on the field.
That is a crucial penalty there on Langley, as it'll keep the Vancouver Island Raider offense on the field. They will take points off the board, which is always, you got to be a little reluctant to do. But in this situation, in this area of the field, no way are you declining that penalty, and you'll take the football down. Where are they going to put it? Looks like inside the 20-yard line.
Yeah, it looks like A.J. Blackwell came in. They called it a contact in the kicker penalty there. So, I mean, I guess if you're trying to be glass half full, it's only the 10-yard variety as opposed to the rough-in for 15. But big penalty for the Rams to take there. And it almost looked like he didn't see where he was and lost his sense of where he was on the field. And well, not an overly malicious play, just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Well, actually move it all the way down inside the 15 to the 14-yard line here in a 1st and 10 now, as they need to get the chain set on the far side of the field. They do that. And the Raiders, who just kicked the field goal, will take those points off the board and now have a 1st and 10. LeBerge. Fake the handoff. He'll roll out. He'll look into the end zone, and North Rainey there for the touchdown.
Yeah, big play for the Raiders there. Is right after the field goal and the penalty. North Rainey's able to connect there. Kind of a confusing looks on the Rams' defensive players there, as LeBerge was able to spot him as he came from LeBerge's left to his right, and you could see Jake was looking for him the whole way, and the Ram defensive player bid on the play action.
Yeah, and I don't want to pick 13 Jake Furlot, but again they expose him, and it really seems like the Raiders are the ones that are picking on 13 in blue right now. They're targeting him a lot when they see him in one-on-one coverage, as another flank comes flying in on the extra point attempt.
Yeah, and that one came from the umpire squad there, so that might be against the Rams for making contact with the center, might be my guess, judging by where the flag was thrown, but wait to see what the officials call. They could have called a hold, but rarely do they do that on a point after play.
They'll enforce that on the kickoff, I believe, as the Zebras will huddle up for this penalty call. 6:52 to go here in this second quarter. And now the Raiders lead it 15-7.
See what the referees call here, but good answer by the Raider offense after the Rams score.
And still waiting for the call here. And they're going to put J.J. Jackson back deep here to return this kick. That's a procedure call on Langley. I don't know, Tyler. I don't know if I've ever seen
on a defensive
procedure.
play.
Yes.
I'm not sure. I don't know what I've never seen that before, to be honest. Perfectly honest, in all my years of playing a coach, I've never seen a procedure called against a defensive play.
Well, they'll move the ball up 5 yards is what it will result in, and the Raiders will kick away here from the 50. Aglianetto and J.J. Jackson deep here for Langley. And a low line driver will bounce once, twice. Jackson has a look, looks up the middle, now bursts through. Jackson to the 30 and maybe to the 32. And pretty good coverage there from the Raiders. Decent return from J.J. Jackson, and out comes the Langley offense, led by Tristan Yansu, after Duncan Little went down in early second quarter action, what looked to be an apparent knee injury.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I could see him on the far sidelines there, but I can't make out and see if Duncan's getting any attention. I don't see him on the medical trainer, but trying to see where he might be getting some attention.
Just the way he was clutching his leg and walked off the field, I don't know if I'm expecting a return for number 10 here today.
No, and I do see Max Joseph, and he doesn't even have his helmet on that far sideline.
Let's see what Yansu and company can do here on 1st and 10. They'll throw. They'll look toward Javon Katoy. Shakes off a man. Brings in the catch. 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. No flags. Langley, a deep one, and then a late flag comes in. I think we might have some taunting at the end of that play. But again, Yansu and Katoy hook up as Katoy goes with the Fortnite celly in the end zone. How about it from Yansu and Javon Katoy as they hook up for a deep one.
Huge play by Jansu and Katoy, and the Raiders had double coverage on Katoy, but you see again the size of him on the replay here. The size of him is he's just much bigger, and he's able to get the separation he needs. And once he gets those legs going in the open field, the safety was definitely late coming over to help McNally Hardesty, and then Katoy obviously with the celebration. But it's a big answer for the Rams. Big play by Katoy, and Raiders have to have an answer for him, or otherwise they're going to keep going to the well on that one.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what the penalty was at the end of that play. I thought it might have been on Liam Stewart for a taunt, but I didn't really see anything from him. You tell me, Tyler McLaren, what the call is here at the end of that play.
It's going against the Rams, but the only thing I can think of after looking even at the replay was, but he was already in the end zone, was the Ram receiver that was accompanying him down to the end zone. Maybe did they call, but they would have called it back unless he was already in the end zone for an illegal block. But
he must have said something because it didn't really look like he did anything.
No.
So maybe an unsportsmanlike conduct for something he said. Regardless, it's a touchdown for Langley as they'll look to tack on an extra point here with Sheelan.
Yeah, probably an unsportsmanlike conduct, and that they apply on the kickoff, of course, as opposed to the penalizing after the touchdown was scored. So it's going to go against the Rams. But they're great response for them. They will be kicking off from a little deeper in their own territory, but they'll happily take that.
McLaren, what do you think about this scenario? You have a unsportsmanlike call there like that, and instead of enforcing that on the kickoff, why not enforce that on the extra point attempt to make that decision on whether you go for two or go for one, or even if you decide to go for one, make that kick a lot harder than it would be just to kick the ball off from wherever it is, your 35-yard line.
Absolutely, make a great point there. That's something that, I mean, or you adopt if we adopted the CFL rules when it comes to the point after attempts, then it really becomes interesting because that convert now becomes much further back. But
and has there been discussion about that? Like, I know you guys model your game after the CFL. You play Canadian football rules. Why not adopt that longer extra point rule, or is that something you guys have thought about and thought maybe at the junior level not quite ready to go there yet?
No, I think they've talked about it for sure. It's obviously a national thing that the BCFC would fall in line with what the CJFL does. And for our officials' point, usually we a lot of times will follow CIS rules or U Sports now. So a lot of times it's we kind of follow each other to make it easy on the officials, but it has been discussed before.
Sheelan to kick off from his 30. It drops down to Braun at his 30. Check it. It's Goldberg on the return, and it's a good one all the way back out to the close to the midfield stripe, and a ram down at the 45, getting up slowly. I think he will be okay, but good return there from Goldberg after muffing and bobbling the first touch on the kick return. Comes up with a better one there as he gets it back to the midfield stripe.
Yeah, I think that's number 86, Sheldon Gangloff there, hurt for the Rams. When he got up, it looks like he was favoring his shoulder, but now he's on the ground and can't tell really where they're attending to him, but it looked like he originally grabbed his shoulder after a great return by the Raiders, answering with good field position close to midfield.
Got up and then went back down again. 16-14 Raiders. We got a good one cooking here from McLeod Athletic Park in this BCFC semifinal. Powered by Treeland Remax here in Langley and Surrey. And don't forget, for all your football needs, cleats, pads, uniforms, you can find it all at Kahuniverse.com.
Yeah, some good playoff history, obviously, with the Raiders coming into the league in 2005. This is their 14th time in the playoffs, so they've been a staple in the playoffs since they came into Nanaimo. For the Rams, obviously, they've been around a long time as well, and in their 30th playoff appearance, and that dates back to 1976. So,
well, our old buddy down the way there, Chris Schwartz, Mud Media, if you will, wearing the old South Fraser Ram jersey here, throwing it way back for a playoff game.
Yeah, he looks fantastic in that. It's funny that he actually...
And I mean way back.
Probably fits him better now than it did a few years ago. So he's, I think he thought he might be able to play today, but he's a little under the age limit at 22 years old.
He is a focused individual right now. He's paying no attention to you whatsoever, Tyler McCoy.
No, he's got selective listening. I've known Chris for a long time, so he's heard me talk many a time, and he just tunes me right out.
You just got the stink eye right there. Finally, Gangloff still down on the turf here with 6:08 to go in this opening half. It's been a good one so far with the Raiders leading by 2. And I think the afternoon for Gangloff might be over the way he walks off the football field. We shall see.
And that playoff record, too, the Raiders, pretty rich history in that regard as well, with an 18-5 record in
That's impressive.
In their playoffs. And, of course, the Rams, no slouches in that record, in that as well, at 19-23. So more appearances, but both teams have a lot of playoff history in between the both of them.
Split the season series did the Rams and the Raiders this year, as the Raiders will start this drive right from the midfield stripe. 55-yard line for Jake LaBerge. Quickly to the line. Fake the handoff, give it to Williams. Bust through the original line, and now Williams galloping down the far sideline, knocked out of bounds. But not until he gets to the 24-yard line. The best run of the day for Rhett Williams. Comes on first down, and it's a 26-yard, and a late flag comes flying in the Langley backfield.
Yeah, huge run for Williams. You can see these teams back and forth, and it should be no surprise. In a lot of cases, it's the familiar faces, the Javon Cotoys, the Rhett Williams, the Jake LaBerges, guys that you would expect to make the plays. And I think the coaches know, come playoff time, those are the guys that you've got to go to for these types of games and big plays.
I think this penalty going to go against Langley. Ejectional conduct on the Rams will tack on another 15 yards off that 26-yard run by Williams, and Langley just continue to shoot themselves in the foot here with penalties.
Yeah, the Raiders' offense is very good and very explosive, but I think the Rams thought they could control them and be in better position defensively. And so far, the Raiders are moving the ball maybe a little bit better than I think certainly the Rams coaching staff and others feel as well.
Ball down to the 14-yard line here, and the Rams in business with a 1st and 10. Williams up the middle again, tried to cut it back, picked up maybe 3. As he gets down to, I'll call it 4, as he gets down to the 10-yard line.
Yeah, Sky King right in the middle of there, and that's tough sledding. When you're better off against the Rams to go outside the tackles or off the tackles as opposed to right up the middle. The Rams have a lot of size and strength and power in the middle there, and when you try and go right up the A gap, that's a tough running space for them.
Raiders can pick up a 1st down without scoring here. They got to get to the 4-yard line for first. As they'll put 3-4 receivers to the near side. Williams will step up in protection. Ball into the end zone. Good thrown ball there by LaBerge, and that's just a drop. As man, oh man, what a throw from LaBerge to Bonnet Plume. And one ball that he needs to catch there, and he knows it, as he was some kind of upset with himself after that one slipped away from the fingertips.
Yeah, Jake threw it exactly where he wanted it, threw it with the perfect height that he wanted to, and the receiver's has to come down with that.
You cannot throw it any better for Jake LaBerge.
You definitely can't. That should have been 7 for the Raiders, but good news is they get an opportunity to answer the Ram touchdown with a field goal of their own here, but I think they would love to have another opportunity to haul that one in.
16-14 now, low snap, got it down, and a low kick. Bit of a knuckleball finds its way through the uprights. And the Raiders put up points 17, 18, and 19 here, and now have a 5-point lead.
Yeah, good answer. I thought this game would be a little lower scoring, and now all of a sudden we've already seen 33 points here, and still lots of time left in the second quarter. So I thought both defenses would be a little stingier than they have been thus far, but back and forth game, and to no surprise, I don't think to anybody, as these two teams have played it pretty close all season long.
It's been entertaining to say the least, and as we know, Tyler, usually halftime adjustments are going to win or lose you a football game. So when these two teams get in the locker room, it'll be crucial what the coaching staff will employ coming out in the second half. I really think for Langley, if they can clean up their penalty and their discipline, they're going to be just fine in this football game, but they continue to take some costly ones that have cost them a lot of yardage here in the first half.
They definitely seem to have been to the brunt of more of the penalties from the officials, and seemingly most of them are warranted, but I think you're spot on. I think if they clean a couple of things up defensively, make sure they key a little bit more on Rhett Williams, try and take him out of the game and force the ball to be thrown in the hands of Jake LaBerge, they should be fine.
4:46 to go to recess here. Is a bit of a timeout down on the field. I'm not exactly sure why.
Yeah, the Raiders just called a timeout there, so
okay,
that will be there first.
It's a little surprising to call a timeout right off a possession change.
Yes, maybe a personnel thing, but that will be the first charge timeout for the Raiders. But yeah, probably a personnel or somebody was missing, but they're back at her now.
Tristan Yancey back up under center. Katoy split wide to this near side. Lone receiver as they got 3 to the high and 2 in the backfield. Yancey under center will hand off to Carter, following the lead block of Cusker. Carter busts through for a 12-yard gain on first down and takes a late bump at the end of that play as well. But that will move the sticks here for Langley Again, Carter with a good surge at the point of attack, picks up 12.
Yeah, really good run by Joe Carter there. And what you can see as they run off the left-hand side there is the Rams are isolating Katoya on the one-on-one, which immediately means the safety. You can see Sean Arabsky cheating over to that side. So really the Rams have an advantage if the Raiders are still going to deploy 2 men to try and cover him.
It looks like that will be the medicine here from Langley as they go pro set in the backfield this time. Yancey back to throw. He's got good protection. Lobs one up there. It's up for grabs. Liam Stewart with a one-handed catch.
Wow.
2 flags come in.
And that's definitely pass interference as the Raider held his hand down. That is a great catch by Liam Stewart. And he keeps making play after play the last few weeks for the Rams. And you need guys like that to step up. That's a heck of a catch by the Rams.
Shades of Odell Beckham Jr. here from Liam Stewart. Watch the concentration on the one-handed snare from Liam Stewart. As you'll see the replay here on TFSC TV and BCFC TV right here. It was a long ball that stood up in the air. How about it there from Liam Stewart with 2 guys draped on him. And 2 flags came flying as well, but still maintained possession and managed to make that catch. That is impressive stuff there from 83.
Yeah, he's like I say, right off the top. And the playoff game, a lot of times if teams take away your main weapons, you have to have secondary guys making plays. And Liam Stewart is slow start to the season, but the last few weeks he's been very noticeable in the Rams passing attack. And that was just a heck of a play and an easy call for the officials as the defensive back almost held his arm down, forcing Liam to catch it with one hand.
Injured Raider Matthew Hill coming off the field slowly, way in behind the line of scrimmage. He's off the playing surface now as the Rams have it with 4 minutes to go in a 1st and 10 from the 33. Yancey has a look as they wave the play ahead. Yancey back to throw on 1st down, steps up in the pocket, over the middle, caught there, but it's ripped away as Aguilanetto had his hands on it, but just couldn't maintain possession. Would have been a fantastic catch there from Nick if he was able to hang on to that. A pretty good defense there by the secondary of the Raiders.
Yeah, good play by the Raiders secondary. Yancey threw a strike there, and Aguilanetto probably should have had that, but the Raider defenders closed in on him, jarring the ball loose. But Yancey very, very confident, steps up in the pocket there, and Nick usually probably comes down with that one 9 out of 10 times.
Put it in there in double coverage, but put it in a spot where Nick was able to catch it. Well, that's a confident throw there by the Rams quarterback. Nonetheless, as the lights come on here at McLeod Athletic Park. This is a 2nd and 10. Yancey fell down, pitched the ball. It's up for grabs, and that's a mental error there from the Langley quarterback. Should have just hung on to it, tried to make something happen, but went down and then tried to pitch the ball as he was falling. And that's a mental error there. The 2nd turnover of the day for Langley as the Raiders get on top of the football.
Yeah, Yancey's feet got connected with somebody there, and instead of just going down and taking the loss and living to fight another day, so to speak, you could see his feet get connected there and should have just eaten that one and kept the ball in the Rams' possession. Big turnover there as the Rams were driving, looking to answer the Raiders' field goal.
So Raiders take over with the 5-point lead, ball at their own 45-yard line. With the clock running down to 3:15 now. Here's Braun across the formation. It's a handoff to Williams as they try and keep that Langley defense honest with that jet sweep formation from Braun, but they continue to feed the rock to 24s. He picks up more positive yards on 1st down, but a limited gain to about 3.
Yeah, Williams is a load for sure. During the regular season, the Rams actually had, as we hit the 3-minute warning here at McLeod, the Rams usually had a +5 rating when it came to the turnover numbers, and the Raiders a +3. So very close, but in games like this where the teams are pretty evenly matched, the turnovers and the mistakes and the penalties can often decide a game. And I think you're seeing some big turnovers and some penalties and shifting the momentum for both of these teams.
Did we just get a penalty call there, or was that just a 3-minute warning signal from the official?
Yeah, just a 3-minute warning here. So everybody will take a little drink of water and get set here, and hopefully the Rams, for their sake and their fans, they can get off the field and get the offense back on the field.
6 to go here for the Raiders. Ball on the 49-yard line. Got to get to the midfield stripe for a 1st down. Rams show blitz here on 2nd down. And it's a handoff and not much.
Very well played there. Trying to get a number. I think that was Anthony Blackwell again. Really well played as he didn't bite on that. Kept his outside shoulder free. It might have been number 36 now that I think about it. But we'll see on the replay here, but you can see on the outside, the Ram defender played it absolutely perfectly and was in a position to force the running back to cut up. And right there, great play there by the Ram defender, number 36.
That is Colton DeJong, who was injured earlier in the game, but back in there and making a play on defense. And that'll get the Rams defense off the field here as the Raiders line it up. Hunchak to kick. Got that good spiraling kick away. It's Aglinetto on the return. Takes it at the 22. Skips his way across the 30 to about the 34-yard line. And Langley hasn't really been able to spring one. And still, we have yet to see Max Joseph, who is in uniform over there, but doesn't have the helmet on.
Yeah, I gotta think
they've missed him in the backfield. They've missed him in the return game as well. He's such a weapon here for Langley, and you can really notice that Maximilian Joseph not playing in this football game yet.
Yeah, I think the key word there, like you said, was yet. Because, I mean, to be able to have one of those roster spots consumed by a guy just standing there, teams can't usually do that. And sometimes it forces teams to sit somebody and make sure they have as many healthy bodies as they can.
2:22 to go to halftime. Langley will get another chance to cut into this 5-point deficit. Yansu spins the ball in his hand, looks deep again, fires way downfield here, fighting all the way. And pretty good no call there from the official, I think, as that one falls incomplete at the 40-yard line of Vancouver Island.
Yeah, it's good coverage there by the Raiders. You continue to see the Rams stretch the field, and I'm waiting to see a lot more of those intermediate routes, those ins, those dig routes, the comebacks, the shorter stuff. But Yansu seems to be pretty comfortable throwing the deep ball.
He is not shy to chuck it down the field, that's for sure. And it really seems like one of those quarterbacks, even after he makes a mistake or throws an interception, he's able to put that behind him and look forward and move ahead and not worry about the play that just happened and worry about the play that is to come.
Yeah, he's got a bit of a veteran moxie for sure.
2nd and 10. Yancy fires. It's a high ball.
Yeah,
intended for Belanger, and maybe his worst throw of the day there, had an open man, just overshot him too high.
And that was one of those intermediate routes, and you could see Belanger was open, and Yancy just missed him as he kind of ran, looked like he was going vertical, just stopped his route. And probably if the ball was thrown a little lower, he probably would have had about a 15-yard gain for the Rams moving the sticks.
Well, quick 2 and out here for Langley. We'll give the ball back to Vancouver Island. They'll have time to work with here, heading towards halftime in this BCFC semifinal, powered by Treeland Remax and the Kahuniverse. Check them out at kahuniverse.com for all your football pad needs. Javon Katoy to kick. And another skying punt here as Braun waits for it at his 40. Brings it in. Runs to his left, head down. And gets ahead to the 50. Give him about 9 on the return.
Yeah, good downfield coverage for the Rams. Braun was able to make some yardage, for positive yardage for the Raiders. The Ram guy, once he cut up, just didn't follow him. Otherwise, that could have been a shorter gain and been a deeper tackle for the Ram defender.
And really, what we've seen here, Tyler McLaren, is in between the two 40-yard lines. The track here at McLeod Athletic Park really getting a wearing as this game has kind of gone back and forth, kind of in between the 35s, in between the 40s here. Not a lot of deep possessions on either end of the field here as this drive will start.
Yeah, a little bit of a little ping-pong match going on here at McLeod.
I like it. LeBears to hand off to Williams. Pretty good gap, pick up 6. And make it closer to 7.
Yeah, positive yards there for Jake as he looked almost the handoff. He almost missed that as he was looking at the defensive end there to see if he was going to pull that, but the Ram defensive player on the end played that exactly where you're supposed to, making the decision easy for LeBears to hand the ball off.
Well, let's see what they do here on a 2nd and short. Playbook pretty much wide open here for Vancouver Island. They can run, they can throw. Maybe a screen, maybe some play action. Let's see what they dial up here on a 2nd and a long 3. They will throw. LeBears looks over the middle on a streak, and it's just incomplete as Clairot did the job, got his hand in between and jarred it free just in time of Mike West. What a play from Kyle Clairot.
Yeah, textbook defense there by Kyle Clairot, and not much of a window for Jake. Threw a pretty good ball, but there was not a whole lot of space to be able to complete that one, and Clairot was in the trail position and made a heck of a play, and he's another guy, just keeps getting better and better. Last year,
Rookie of the year this year, an all-star.
Absolutely, and just continues to get better. And he's fast, he's big, and he's a force.
Kick coming from Hunchak. Drives in. It's a short kick. Jackson waiting, brings it in. Here's Jackson running to this near sideline, looks for a block on the edge. We got a flag come in at the 21-yard line, and this, I think, will be a hold here on Langley, and they'll start this drive pretty deep with just 1:25 to go to halftime.
Yeah, he tried to get the corner there. Look, I think it was J.J. Jackson was trying to get the corner there for the Rams, and Raiders strung him out. And in that case, a lot of times you'll see coaches that just say, just plant your foot and get upfield. And sometimes when you try and stretch it out, it puts a lot of pressure on your blockers in front of you, and then that leads to holding or illegal block calls. So I think the coaches will probably say, when you catch a ball like that, find a seam, cut up, and get upfield and get what you can.
This drive will start from the 11-yard line here for Langley. 85 seconds to go to halftime. We have seen the big play ability from Yansu to Javon Katoy a couple of times in this game. But you got to think the Raiders late in the second half will be guarding heavily against the deep ball to Katoy. So maybe that opens up the run game up the middle here for Joe Carter.
Yeah, and you see that, again, they keep isolating Katoy by himself, and the Raiders seem okay with playing McNally Hardesty. He was an all-star this year too, so they seem okay with that matchup, but you definitely have seen now they got two safeties on the field, so they're definitely, the run will be a good opportunity as the Raiders have one less player in the box.
It's actually a 15-yard penalty, not a 10, so the ball is spotted back on the 6-yard line. Yansu literally standing on his 1 to start this drive.
Yeah, I would be running. They're in a 42 defense. Good opportunity for the Rams to run the ball if they so choose.
They won't. It's a slant to Katoy. Spins off one man, falls across the 20. It's a first down easily. And that's just pitch and catch there from Yansu to Katoy. That looks like a play they could run over and over and over again and be successful every time.
Yeah, and that intermediate route there with the Raiders now in their 42 defense. So that's where you will make some positive yards if you're offensive.
I just don't know how you stop that against that receiver. Like, he is just so big and so athletic. He's going to get the step on you on a quick slant every time, but then you got to wrap up and do a nice job of tackling, which Hardesty did there.
Yeah, once he gets inside, he's very tough to match.
Here comes a 1st and 10. Yancy will hand off to Carter. Sidesteps a man, lowers the pads. He'll pick up close to 8. As clock down to 52 seconds as Langley, if nothing else, got away from their own end zone here and will play a little field position, milk this clock a little bit. They'll try and get a score, obviously, but I just don't think they want to give the ball back to the Raiders here before the end of the half.
No, I mean, you're bang on right, and again, the opportunity is there to run the ball some more, and Joe could easily crack one here in this particular defense the Raiders are playing is subjected to the run as the Rams just outnumber them in the box.
Ball in the 34. 4-man front, 3 in the linebackers. One-on-one out on the edges. Play action, Yansu, deep ball again. Looking for Stewart, adjusts to it, makes the catch, stays on his feet for the moment.
Heck of a
and
play.
Gets the ball down to the 37. How about the adjustment to the football again from Liam Stewart as the defensive back for the Raiders just didn't get his head turned around to locate the football.
Yeah, a heck of a play again by Liam Stewart, and he continues to make catches like that. And that ball kind of hung up there as well a little bit as we got a timeout on the field for the Rams. But you can see on the replay here, the ball kind of just hangs up there, but Liam Stewart does a great job of adjusting to it, finding where it is, and then putting his body in a better position to make the catch than the Raider defender.
He's got a real knack to do that, does Liam Stewart. Has made some big plays over the last few weeks of the season as well. As a timeout down on the field comes with 32 seconds to go. And the ball down to the 37-yard line here of Vancouver Island. Remember, this drive started with 1:25 to play back on the 6 of Langley. So they've ripped off a good chunk of yards here in a limited amount of time and have a chance to put some points on the board heading to the locker room down 5.
Yeah, it'd be huge for the Rams. If they can get in the end zone, I wouldn't be surprised if they take a shot here, but certainly setting themselves up with, I believe, one more timeout left for, at the very least, a field goal opportunity.
They do have one timeout on the board. They do have 2 in the backfield, 3 to this near wide side. Javon Katoy split wide to the short side. Yansu back to throw on first down. Fired, looked like his arm was hit on the release, and that one falls incomplete. 4 seconds off the clock. It'll be 2nd and 10 with 28 to play.
Raiders got good pressure on that one there, and Yansu didn't really have a passing lane, and they tried to set up the short stuff, but it just wasn't there, and the Raider defense was right in his face there to knock out or to obstruct the vision of Yansu.
So big play coming here for both teams on a 2nd and 10 with 28 seconds to go. Langley breaks the huddle. Carter to the left of Yansu. Cusker to the right. Boulanger and Aguiletto to this near side. Stewart and Katoy up high. Yansu steps up in the pocket. He's going to run. Almost tackled from behind. Gets knocked down. And I believe he's going to be about 3 yards short of the first down. I don't really mind the decision there from Tristan Yansu to run. Maybe make it a little bit earlier, but came very close to breaking off a big run there, but does come up short of the first down marker. And now, if you're Howie Zaron, what do you do here on 3rd and short with 20 seconds to go, clock running?
I think they're going to milk the clock here and just take it down and then call a timeout and probably make the last play of this first half be a field goal opportunity. They don't seem to be in any kind of hurry to stop the clock.
The Raiders don't seem in any hurry to stop the clock either. They'll run it down to 3 seconds, 2, 1. And now they call the timeout with 1 second to go, and out comes the field goal team.
A good alert play by Yansu. Again, the Raiders, what you saw in that drive, a lot of times they were, without even making substitutions, we're jumping from a 4-2 defense, which means 4 D linemen and 3 linebackers in a 4-3 to a 4-2. So when the Rams were making success, that two safeties that they were playing makes it awfully hard for the Rams to throw the ball because those 2 safeties could split the field in half.
Well, I'd definitely say Matthias Bueno had the leg to make this. I'm not sure if I've seen Jaden Sheelan kick one from this distance this season, but he will line up for an attempt of about 39 yards here in between the hash marks.
No wind at all as the flags are basically still, and if you're the Rams, you're definitely telling your cover team just in case, make sure we cover this kick here, because last thing they want to see is the Raider return one for a touchdown.
With Braun with the ability to do that.
Absolutely.
Big kick coming here for Jaden Sheelan. It'll be a 38-yarder. And now what do we got? Timeout Raiders as they try and ice the Rams kicker.
Yeah, trying to freeze the kicker there is what Doug Hawkins going to do. Can't take that. The timeout's over, so may as well use it and let him think about it a little while and maybe try and arrange a block or get some pressure and make this kick a little harder.
Does Sheelan have the leg to bang it from 38?
I think
Rams
he does.
coaching staff say they do. Let's find out.
Yeah, I was watching him in the warm-up, and he did seem to have the leg to do it. One thing I noticed when he was kicking in the warm-up, and then he's going in the same direction that I saw him in the warm-up as well, is his kicks tend to be low. So, I mean, the hope for the Raiders might as well be as well. On a longer kick, obviously, the ball's going to be at a lower trajectory. So the Raiders might be able to block it here, but he does seem to kick the ball. His habit is kicking the ball low.
Well, obviously, mission number 1 is get a good snap, and then 2 is get the good hold. And then 3, get the leg through. As he lines up for 38, Raider faithful come to their feet. Here's the hold. The kick is up. It is
Look good.
Good from Sheelan from 38-yard line. And the Rams will head for the locker room with some momentum as they put 3 on the board and will trail by 2. What an opening half of football here in the first semifinal between the Rams and the Raiders.
Yeah, that's a huge kick for the Rams. I mean, it's 3 points, but there's something psychological that when you're on the last play of the game, when you hit a big field goal like that, 39, 40 yards, that's a big psychological boost, and it gives the home team a little bit of a pep in the step as they head to the locker room. And for the Raiders, I think they probably have to be pretty happy with that first half of football being the road team and in a very close, very evenly played first half here at McLeod.
Well, they have not put the points up on the scoreboard yet. I'm not sure why, but it is 19-17 in favor of the Vancouver Island Raiders over the Langley Rams. 30 minutes down and 30 to go here from McLeod Athletic Park. We'll be back with first half analysis and second half action in 15 minutes time. You got it locked right here on BCFC TV, powered by Treeland Remax and the Kahunaverse. Check them out at kahunaverse.com. We'll talk to you in 15 minutes.
not going to sugarcoat it. We had a bit of a rough start to the season. Mom! So it was time to update Dylan's gear. Kahunaverse.com had it all, including equipment and our team's custom clothing. Looking playoff ready, Dylan.
From prospect to pro, Kahunaverse.com.
not going to sugarcoat it. We had a bit of a rough start to the season. Mom! So it was time to update Dylan's gear. Kahunaverse.com had it all, including equipment and our team's custom clothing. Looking playoff ready, Dylan.
From prospect to pro, Kahunaverse.com.
All right, football fans, welcome back inside McLeod Athletic Park as we're just about through halftime here. Great opening 30 minutes here from Langley. 19-17 Raiders lead the Rams. It's Jake Elliott. It's Tyler McLaren with you, the president of the BCFC on color with me here today. And Tyler, pretty entertaining opening half, pretty evenly played opening half. I will let you run down the opening first half stats.
Absolutely. It was a very evenly played first half and a lot of back and forth. And just when you think one team might get the momentum, it seemed to shift back in the other direction. But like you said, pretty evenly first half between both these teams. The rushing yards, the Rams had 44 to the Raiders 90. So Raiders an advantage there with Brett Williams obviously back in the lineup. The receiving yards, the Rams actually have quite an edge there at 243 yards compared to the Raiders 106. Javon Katoy, obviously the big day in the first half here with three catches and 131 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he's been very prominent. The net offense, 264 for the Rams, 196 for the Raiders. So Raiders had a couple times where they scored on shorter fields. Tristan Yansu coming in for the injured Duncan Little, 6 of 12, 227 yards, very, very effective in that regard, and for half a football, 2 touchdowns. Jake LeBerge, 5 of 13, 106 yards and 2 TDs himself. First downs, dead even. Rams had 9, and the Raiders had 9. And the penalties, what started to be a little bit more for the Rams at the start, kind of balanced itself out. The Rams had 8 for 70 yards, and the Raiders had 6 for 43. So pretty even, and with this 19-17 score, I think we'll see what the halftime adjustments bring us, and I anticipate a very exciting, very close second half here.
As do I. Brett Williams, the man for Vancouver Island. Javon Katoy, the man for Langley in that opening half. As you might expect, the big story, Duncan Little going down with injury in that first half, unable to continue, but Tristan Yansu coming in did a fine job for Langley. It's a bit of an odd situation. Both teams came up and lined up on the wrong side of the field. The officials had to flip them around as we're set to start the second half. Kick it off. Let's play some football. As Sheelan, who banged that 38-yard field goal at the end of the first half, kicks off here to Goldbarn, who's got something on the return. Got one man to beat and gets chopped down at the 55-yard line. Almost broke that one the entire way for Goldbarn, but a late tackle there from Langley will keep them at the midfield stripe here, but great field position to start this second half for the Raiders, who keep that early safety, added to their lead, got out to that 9-0 lead before Langley found some traction in that second quarter.
Yeah, great start for the Raiders there with a good return there, and you can see on the replay there, he was maybe another block away from potentially taking that one to the house. So they get good field position to start and exactly what the visitors need.
I see JP Callambay out on this near edge in the defensive back secondary, as that was for lots position in that opening half, and I think 13 might have got a bit of a talking to at halftime and is over on the sideline here to start the second half for the Rams.
Yeah, Sky King coming up a little wobbly there after that one, and the Raiders ran right into his wheelhouse, and he was able to hold the fort there, but he is a little limping around, but he should be okay.
They move the change to this near side of the field, which makes our job a little bit easier here in the second half, as a 3-yard gain on first down for the Raiders. We'll bring up a 2nd and 7 here as the shadows all the way across the field in the north end of the field now as Clairot goes up for a pick. He's got it. 21 with the interception as it was intended for West but underthrown. And the all-star defensive back Kyle Clairot comes up with a turnover here for Langley.
Yeah, a huge play for the Rams, and that's a matchup where if you ask both teams, they'll probably both say they like. I mean, Mike West is one of the Raiders' primary targets, and Kyle Clairot, we've said enough about him so far, but great play by Clairot and a big change of possession for the Rams, and then they get their offense on the field, and that's exactly the turnovers that the Rams might need to get their offense going.
Went up and high-pointed that football right at the right spot and then came down to it. Nice hands by the defender there, Kyle Clairot. As Tristan Yansu back out there at quarterback, no sign of Duncan Little here in the second half, and I don't expect him to return into this game as Yansu has a look at the wristband. Waves the receivers ahead. He'll throw on first down. Looks deep down the field again. Aglianetto trying to shake off his man and brings in the catch. Stays on his feet. He's at the 35, 30, 25 and knocked out of bounds. And a horse collar tackle at the end of that play. How about it from Nick Aglianetto? Fighting his way all the way down the field and then the concentration to make the catch at the end. What a play.
Huge play by Aglianetto, and that was right on the money by Tristan Yansu. Aglianetto making up for a bit of a drop in the first half there in a big way, and I thought he might have a hard time coming down to this one because the Raider defender's in a good play, but you see on the replay, Aglianetto, great concentration, and then as he breaks separation here, a horse collar right at the end for more yardage for the Rams as he goes out of bounds.
We've seen a couple of just amazing catches so far by the Rams receivers. Liam Stewart with a one-handed dandy, and now Nick Aglianetto with an acrobatic catch over his shoulder and then manages to stay on his feet for another 15 yards as well. As Langley has the ball and they are in business, just poking through in the sunshine here in the southern end. At the 9-yard line from the right hash mark, it's a first, and they haven't moved the sticks yet. They need to do that, and I'm not sure why they haven't.
Yeah, they're still back at the original 25. I think they know it's goal to go. So
it's first and goal it is. And Yansu will hand off to Carter up the middle, wrapped up pretty quickly, but does pick up close to 4 as he's down to the 5, well, they'll say the 6-yard line. And it'll be second and goal here for the Rams.
Yeah, good run there on first down, getting probably about halfway to the goal line, maybe just shy of that, but trying to crack Joe Carter there for the score. But
well, Coach McLaren, what are you calling here on a second and goal? If it's me, I'm going slant, Katoy, and stick it in there and let the big man go to work.
Yeah, I think you're right here. They got him isolated on the bottom side, so they might be able to get a slant unless the safety drifts over and double covers him.
Yansu in the shotgun, takes the snap, looks to Katoy, now looks the other way. Now still scrambling, he's going to be dropped, as he just didn't know where to go with the football there, and the Raiders got home and took him down.
Big play there by the Raider defense to hold the Rams to a field goal opportunity. They were looking in the direction of Katoy, and if you see it on a replay here, I'm not sure if we'll get a good look at it. Yansu's looking to his left first and comes back to his right, and the Raiders actually dropped a linebacker in Katoy's direction, taking the slant, and the safety rolled over top, taking away the post. So
it was big Brody Taylor that got into the backfield. But a chance now for Langley after that big play from Nick Aglianetto to take the lead here as Sheelan made the field goal from 38 to end the first half. This one much shorter, coming from the 15. High snap. Got it down. Kick is up. Kick is good. And nice job there from Aglianetto to bring that snap down and get it placed in time for Sheelan to kick it through. And for the first time here today in this semifinal game, the Rams push in front by just a single point now at 20-19 with just over 3 minutes gone in this third quarter.
Yeah, Nick Aglianetto made a great play there. As I thought for sure that ball was going to sail over his head, but was able to get it down and get it on the tee for the field goal for the Rams and giving them a lead. Great start for the second half. Big play by Aglianetto on the receiving end, and I'm sure the Rams will probably would like to punch that in the end zone. So a bit of a moral victory for the Raiders defense holding there, but the Rams able to still come away with points.
You will head up the Coquihalla tomorrow for semifinal number 2 between Valley and Okanagan. What time's kickoff from the Apple Bowl
1 p.m. tomorrow.
1 p.m. kickoff. That'll be a beauty. And you can watch it right here on BCFC TV. And Sheelan to kick off here from his 45. A low line driver will skip at the 22 into the hands of Braun, who starts it ahead, looking for a seam, buries his man at the 35 and falls ahead to the 37-yard line. As the Raiders who turned it over on their first possession here of the second half, will come out for their second time here, led by the standout quarterback Jake LaBerge.
Yeah, Cairo Hassan with the tackle there for the Rams, with limiting the return. But yeah, looking forward to tomorrow's game. It should be another dandy up at the Apple Bowl, and with the season we've had and the parity that we've had this year, it wouldn't shock anybody, I think, if 4 beat 1, although the
a lot of people are calling that a bit of a trap game. We'll see what the health of the Huskers is like. I know there was some injury concerns to their offensive players and a couple in their receiver Dick and even their quarterback as well. As here's Williams on his first touch. He's wrapped up quickly, trying to yank that ball free, but Williams does well to hang on to it. Goes down a little hard and a little slow to get back up as well, but Williams has kind of had his way on the ground here for Vancouver Island. His biggest run of the first half was 26 yards, but he's gained positive yardage pretty much every time he's touched the rock. Just a single yard there. So Langley, a pretty nice job on that defensive line.
Yeah, he's one of those runners who's often tough to get for a loss. He seemingly almost always gets positive yards, whether they be big gains or small, but he's a tough guy to bring down in the backfield.
4-man front here for the Rams once again. Second and long. LaBerge, 3-step drop, looks deep. He's got into double coverage and just out of the reach. As he looked for Nelms, Horton down this near sideline. Langley had double coverage. LaBerge is so accurate with the football, but that time just a yard too far as it falls to the turf incomplete. And Langley will get off the field here defensively as out comes Hunchak to punt away.
Yeah, Jake had it through the ball where only his receiver was going to catch it, but the Rams played it well defensively. They had Klassen and Clarat in there, so if the ball was underthrown or overthrown, the Rams were in a good position to intercept that pass. But good throw by Jake LaBerge as he tried to thread the needle into Nelms Horton.
Well, since that 9-0 lead for Vancouver Island, you just kind of felt the momentum starting to swing Langley's way here on their home field. This is J.J. Jackson as he'll try and string it to the far side. He's got all sorts of blockers out on that far side for Jackson. He's down the far sideline, picking up a convoy. J.J. Jackson to the 30, 25-20. Tries to cut it back inside, down to the 11-yard line. J.J. Jackson with a big one.
Huge play there for the Rams. That's exactly what they needed on special teams, and you start to feel the momentum shifting a little bit to the home side as that return was set up and the wall was set up to the run to the left, and as soon as he got the corner, you knew it was going to go a long way as he had a convoy of blue sweaters.
Oh, watch the replay here, and the key play was Jackson deciding to run left right from the get-go, and then watch the blockers out in front here for the Rams special teams unit. Aglianetto out there leading the way, and down the sideline he goes for a big return for J.J. Jackson all the way to the 11-yard line in Langley. Knocking on the door once again with the 1-point lead. They'll have a 1st and 10 from the 11. They can pick up a first down. Don't expect them to. Let's see what they do here on 1st and 10. It's play action. It's Yansu on the rollout. Looked like he had rim. Comes it into the end zone. Katoy. And touchdown, Langley.
Wow. Big play by the Rams. Big answer there. We'll see it on the replay, I'm sure, here as the Raider defense bid on the play action fake. The defensive end crashed in. Yansu pulled it and was able to find Katoy in the end zone.
I think Yansu probably could have walked that one into the end zone himself, but he decides to go to his stud receiver, Javon Katoy. And he rifled that one in right along the boundary. And how about the hands from Javon Katoy to bring that one in, get a foot down for his 3rd touchdown of the football game, Javon Katoy. And the Rams make it 26-19 with an extra point attempt to come. Big players show up in the big moments, and Javon Katoy doing that here this afternoon as Sheelan knocks another extra point through. And suddenly, 10 points up on the board here in the first 5 minutes of the third quarter for the Rams. Have them up by 8.
Yeah, and special teams playing a big part of it too with that big return by the Rams, J.J. Jackson, that leading to the points. But momentum is definitely on the home team side, and if you're the Raiders, you have to just simply take a deep breath and once again say the same thing that the Rams might have been saying in the first half. Say, guys, we've got a long way to go in this football game. Let's just settle down, get the ball in our playmakers' hands, and we could be right back in this before we know it.
And the fans here at McLeod Athletic Park firmly behind their Rams now. And all of them were standing on that return from J.J. Jackson and that touchdown from Katoy, almost looking to Raider Nation in the stands saying, we're here now and we're ready to play in this second half, as they score twice quickly here and now have the 8-point lead with 9:55 to go in the third quarter. Here comes the kick down to Braun to the 10-yard line. Got 4 men in front of him here as he tries to find a seam and gets out to the 35-yard line. And again, that kick return cover team for Langley has done a great job, with the exception of maybe that previous one to Goulburn earlier, but they've really limited the return game here for Vancouver Island this afternoon.
Absolutely, and they knew that going into this game, that they can't give those types of big returns. Play good defense, play good special teams, and limit the big plays, and usually coaches are quite happy when that happens. We see on the Out of Town scoreboard, while we have a quick minute, the Hamilton Hurricanes, who are the #1 team in the Ontario Football Conference, leading Niagara 42-0 at the half. So
yeah, I want you to break down the scenario on how it all works for the Cullen Cup, Canadian Bowl, all that sort of stuff, and maybe you can do that now, Tyler McLaren, as we have a bit of a break in the action. This year, it's being hosted in the Prairies, so whoever wins in that conference gets the bye. Ontario will come west this year. I guess I'll break it down for you.
Absolutely, you're doing a great job.
The Ontario will come west to play the BC representative to find out who goes to the Canadian Bowl in Saskatchewan.
Yeah, it gets rolled around every 3 years. So this year, like you said, the Prairies will get the host of the Canadian Bowl. So they will earn that bye, as Ontario did last year, and we did 3 years before that. So Ontario is coming out to BC, and the Hamilton Hurricanes are one of the teams in Ontario who's been having a really good season, and they're quite confident as they look to be the front runners in that conference.
Another limited gain on first down from Rhett Williams. He'll get a gain of 2, make it 2nd and 8 as LaBerge gives some words to North Rainey. Here comes the snap, fake the handoff to Braun, play action. LaBerge looking downfield, rifles one, got a completion. North Rainey spins away from one tackle, falls across the 50, and a late hit comes in, and what is that about?
That's going to be a 15-yard penalty against the Raiders, I think, as they just had a great play, and they're just a little overzealous trying to make the extra block. It wasn't necessary as the receiver was already down on the ground.
Oh my goodness, that came way, way late there for the Raiders, and really no need for it. Again, it's our old friend Tristan Waters picking up that penalty after one of the best gains in the air there for Vancouver Island. North Rainey making a great catch here, but just watch how late this last block. I mean, that is just so unnecessary there from Waters. I'm not sure what he's thinking.
Yeah, he's trying. I mean, he's trying to be physical, but there comes a point where intelligence and making a smart play has to take advantage, has to supersede what you think you want to do personally. And that Raiders, after a really nice play, kind of shoot themselves in the foot as they head backwards. Now back, instead of being around midfield, they're back at their own 35.
35-yard line for a 1st and 10. As LaBerge, a deep drop, set up the screen. Langley busts through, and they'll wrap up. Virtually no gain there. Blackwell in on the tackle as he sniffed that one out quickly.
Perfectly read there by Anthony Blackwell. We'll see there the screen was trying to be set up to Rhett Williams. I like the call by the the Raiders on that one, but Blackwell sniffed that one out and made a great play for the Rams defense.
Fans, don't forget you're watching the BCFC semifinal on BCFC TV, powered by Treeland Remax. And for all your football cleats, shoulder pads, helmets, accessories, and more, visit Kahuniverse Sports, located at Surrey, or online visit kahuniverse.com. 8:05 to go, clock running here, 3rd quarter. It's a 2nd and 9 for the Raiders, who find themselves down 8 now here in the 3rd. Play action for LaBerge again, looks over the middle, deep ball up the sideline, and well-timed hit there. No flag comes in. Langley is going to get off the field once again as LaBerge put it on the mark, but the receiver just couldn't bring it in.
Yeah, they got the matchup I think they wanted from the Raiders' perspective, but Anthony Blackwell again with a great defensive play. If LaBerge had a little bit more trajectory on that one, he might have been able to drop it in there, but the ball was more on a line drive, and Blackwell was able to break it up for the Rams.
So Nick Aglanetto and J.J. Jackson come back deep to receive this kick from Hunchak. They'll stand at the 35-yard line. As Langley will try and set up another return here, and a whistle goes just before the snap.
I think there's a timeout for Rams. I think they have too many men on the field. If my math is okay, I think they saw it at the last minute.
It's got to be better than mine, Tristan. Tyler, I can tell you that. So.
Yeah,
Langley just got the timeout in time as Verlot was out on the field. He's the one coming off.
Yeah, that would have been costly for the Rams. That would have been 1st down for the Raiders had they not called the timeout.
He's had a tough day, has Jake Verlot.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I mean, it's where your brain is, you're thinking defensive stuff, and then all of a sudden you think you're on. It's punt return for the Rams now, but maybe he's on the punt team and just lose concentration there for a second.
Got to know your assignments, but a heads-up coaching job there to call timeout. And instead of taking the penalty, I don't know if it would have changed the decision of VI on that 5-yard penalty. It would have.
No, that's a 10 for too many men.
Okay, so there you go. That would have been an automatic 1st down for Vancouver Island. So Very heads-up coaching there from whoever decided to call. You don't like to burn a timeout this early in the second half, but if it gets you the ball back, I think it's worthwhile.
Absolutely.
And a bit of a sidewinder kick here to Jackson at the 41-yard line. He's going to run to this near sideline this time. Now he's got a cut. Still Jackson, and across the 45 to the 46 before being rocked and taken down there hard by Dylan Neufeld on a clean tackle as Jackson gets up yapping.
Yeah, Corey Fletcher for the Raiders, number 25, made a great play that time, preventing the returner from getting in the corner there. Otherwise, it could have been a repeat of what just happened a few minutes ago, just going in a different direction. But alert play by the Rams to call a timeout there. Like you said, they don't want to have to burn one that early, but the trade-off would have been a first down for the Raiders, and that would have been really costly.
Well, 1st and 10 now from the 47-yard line. Right hash mark here for Langley with the 8-point lead. 27-19, clock running here in the third quarter. Now let's see what Yansu and company can do here as they scored on their previous 2 drives. Carter cut down quickly right at the line of scrimmage. No gain. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Yeah, good flow by the Raider defense there. Joe tried to get the corner, but it just didn't collapse for the Rams offensive line, and the Raiders were able to stack that up, minimizing the gain to maybe 1 on the play.
Well, I think Langley, where they've had success is running up the middle. And they've had success passing out on the edges, and that time they tried to run out on the edge, and it just wasn't there for Cutter. As they break the huddle here on a 2nd and 10 now. Right in between the hash marks on the 47. Katoy had nobody covering him momentarily. Now somebody is. Yansu to throw. Got a wide open man, but he overshot him, and it's picked off. Raiders on the return here after the interception. And they'll get back to the 40, no further, but maybe the first overthrown ball we've seen from Tristan Yansu today. But it's Sean Arabsky that makes the pick. And man, oh man, do the Raiders ever need that, as they'll get good field position here after the turnover over the overshot ball from Yansu, who had an open man right there, but just about a yard too high.
Yeah, he definitely overthrew that one. He had that. I mean, I thought the Ram receiver might have been able to sit down in that zone a little faster, because Raiders were in second long situation and had the 2 safeties. So I think he drifted probably a little further than what the coaches would have wanted. Could have checked that route up and stopped it a little earlier.
Well, the pendulum flips quickly here now for Vancouver Island from their Rams 40-yard line here. LeBear's the snap. Williams trying to pick his way through, still on his feet, cuts it back, and then wrapped up. Ball comes loose. And is that a fumble? Let's see if the referee says the ground caused it.
Look like they're saying he's down.
They will say he's down after a yard gain, as Williams tried to reach out for some extra yards, but I think the ground is what caused the fumble. I'm not sure if we'll get a replay here or not from the boys downstairs. We will have a look at it. You be the judge. As Williams just trying to do a little bit extra right there, and yes, indeed, the ball does come out after being down on the ground.
Good call by the officials there.
Excellent call. 2nd and 9. 4 receivers to the high side. Low snap for LeBears. Looks to this left side. One-on-one out there. And that one's incomplete as well. Step for step was Callambay. And again, that was Jacob Furlant's assignment earlier in the game. Callambay doing the job there on Nelms Horton up this near sideline. That one falls incomplete, and out comes the punt team once again for Vancouver Island.
Good cover by the Rams there. A little bit of hand checking by both guys, but good no call by the officials as there was nothing there to see. Jake threw it again in a good spot.
I will say here, Tyler, that I have been pretty critical of the officials over a couple of weeks here of the season. Today here in the semifinal playoff game, I think this officiating crew has done an excellent job. Jackson late to get on the field here for this punt return. Aglianetto stands at a 7, brings in the kick. 2 flags come flying. I think it's going to be no yards, and that'll be caught in the air by Aglianetto. So this should be the 15-yard variety here, tacked onto the end of that short return.
Yeah, the Rams are going to get the ball probably around their own 25-yard line or 26-yard line, somewhere in that neck of the woods. Aglianetto, good job there sitting underneath that one. He knew he'd get the call, 15-yard penalty for the Rams.
I don't know if Hunchak picked it up or not, but J.J. Jackson came scrambling out onto the field late, was still doing up his chin strap as Hunchak put his foot to the ball. And if he would have noticed that and kicked to the other side of the field, they really could have pinned Langley deep. It is a no yards, and it was caught in the air.
Well, 20, it's a 15-yard penalty. At the 10-yard line, he caught it, so he'll be
There must have been a second infraction there because it looked like Langley declined a second penalty. But they will take the ball at the 24-yard line here. with 5:07 to go in this third quarter, leading by 8, 27-19 in this semifinal playoff game. Trying to punch their ticket into the final and either take on Valley or Okanagan a week from today. Yansu weighs him ahead. Here comes pressure from the Raiders. Yansu stands in the pocket. Now he's going to scramble out. Got a man wide open. Boulanger brings in the catch. 40 to the 45. Pushed out of bounds. Easy first down there for Langley. That's good patience there from Yansu. We do have a flag, though, and it's a holding call on the Rams. This one's coming back.
Yeah, good play there by Yansu. The Raiders brought some pressure from Yansu's left, and he was able to escape and out of the pocket and throw it to where the Raiders were blitzing from. And big gain for the Rams, but it will come back on the holding call.
A big penalty there on Langley. Wipes out a significant play from Yansu to Boulanger. And it backs Langley up closer to their own goal line here, down to the 14-yard line. And it'll be a 1st and 20 now, as they got to get out to the 34 for a first down.
Yeah, screener draw territory here potentially. Joe Carter has cracked a couple of big ones this year when they ran that screen play, so wouldn't be surprised to see it dialing into one of those two calls.
Again, if you're joining us late, Max Joseph in uniform here for Langley, but has not seen a snap all day long. And I wouldn't expect him to at this juncture of the game either. Yancy to throw. Katoy held up. Oh, where is the flag on that? Just as I praised the officials, they missed an easy pass interference call there.
Yeah, I think we'll see on the replay. He had his hand right around Javon's waist. Didn't spin him around, but I think his momentum here, we'll see on the replay here, I think his definitely slowed his momentum down.
My goodness. I mean, that is pretty egregious right there, huh?
Yeah, his right, you can see McNally Hardesty's right arm on Katoy's right hip, and safety was coming over to make a play, but we got a bit of an injury now with Boulanger down, but that one was probably something, if the officials could see that one again, that might have been a pass interference.
Well, he did use his outside hand that was shielding away from the official, so he may not have been able to see it, but just the way Katoy got spun around at the end of that play looked pretty evident and pretty easy call to make, but we'll say incomplete, and it's 2nd and 20 here, and now you got to be careful if you're Langley on what you dial up here on a 2nd and real long, deep in your own zone. Yansu will hand off to Carter. Up the middle, Carter makes a good move, still on his feet, gets back to near the original line of scrimmage, no further.
See, I like the call there. I know that some people might say, why not take a shot? But
no.
Play the field position game. The Raiders were in a very pass-friendly defense. I like the call personally of just getting some positive yards, hopefully giving your punter a little bit more room to kick the ball.
And you got an 8-point lead here. You're on your home field. You got all the momentum in the second half going for you. So you don't want to mess around too much, and just coming off an interception from the previous possession as well. So they go a little conservative. And Javon Katoy will stand back at his 10-yard line here to punt this one away to Braun, who stands at his own 50.
Yeah, Raiders should get good field position after this, depending on unless Javon can really boot one here.
Raiders show a little pressure. They come off the edge. Here's a high kick. And it'll drop at the 53-yard line. Braun will step up on it. No flag comes in. And driven back at the 53 of Langley. But again, the Raiders will have good field position as the Shadows have engulfed the entire playing surface now with 3:07 to go. The light's starting to take effect here at McLeod Athletic Park.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, like we mentioned, tomorrow's game, the Okanagan Sun hosting the Valley Huskers, 1 p.m. Feel free to join us on BCFCTV.com. Should be a really good game. Obviously, whoever wins this game will be watching that quite keenly. The way we work, obviously, with the schedule is the highest seed will host that Cullen Cup final. And
so if Okanagan wins, it's in the Apple Bowl. If Valley wins, it's
At
either back here in Langley or at Caledonia Field.
Absolutely.
In Nanaimo.
And then everybody wants to play in front of their home fans this time of year and get that home cooking and not boarding ferries or potential road trips up to Coquihalla, even though our weather's been fantastic. And for those that might be joining us from Ontario, yes, we have had fantastic weather. So
just unbelievable weather as Braun comes limping off the field, and that'll be a noticeable absence here for the Raider offense on this drive. As I think Braun will be able to get back into this football game the way he's coming off, but a little ginger on that right leg. It is a 1st and 10 from the 53 of Langley here for the Raiders. Down 8 is Joe Carter. First down, Joe implores Ram Nation here to get loud for their defense. Here's LeBears to throw on first down. Fires complete. North Rainey with a stiff arm. Klassen hangs onto his man. Still North Rainy on his feet. He's actually going to lose some yards. Let's see where they mark forward progress here.
Forward progress, probably about a 5-yard gain, I would think, by what we can tell.
Good job there from Klassen just to hang on to North Rainy. You had the stiff arm locked in, but Klassen, relentless, just wouldn't let go.
Yeah, size. Joel is a little bit shorter than North, and North is a big guy to bring down. But Joel did a really good job, Klassen, for number 5 for the Rams, waiting and holding on and waiting for the cavalry to arrive.
So second, and let's call it 7. Gotta get to just shy of the 42 for a first down here for the Raiders. LeBerge waves him ahead in the shotgun. All right, they're going to look this near sideline. Here comes pressure. Fire it out there, and it's tipped and knocked down. Great defensive play there from Blackwell as he just got a fingertip on it to knock it down to the turf.
Yeah, Charles Nawaye was in there for the Rams defense, and Jake, I think, needed about another half a second or second as he didn't really get his feet planted on there, and he was looking for the crossing route to Bonnet Plum, and had he had that extra second, might have been able to connect.
Big stand there by the Rams defense as they played that field position game, and it looks like they'll get it back here around their 15, 20-yard line. Let's see, they go quickly here with Hunchak. He'll angle it towards J.J. Jackson, takes it in at the 17. Got a good block on the edge, up this near sideline, and a flag comes flying late. And I think it might be a holding call on Langley at the 30-yard line as they tried to seal the edge there for Jackson on the return.
Yeah, I think holding going to be against the Rams here, so that will push them back just when they were going to look like they were going to get some relatively decent field position.
I mean, Jackson was going to maybe go another 2 or 3 yards at the most there, and really no need for that hold on the edge either.
He was being angled to the sideline, so not a necessary hold that would have sprung anything. So the Rams special teams coaches probably won't like that decision making there.
So they'll put the ball down on the 22-yard line to start this drive here from Langley. I really kind of feel like this is an important drive here for the Rams offense after getting off to such a great start in this third quarter, have sputtered the last couple of times, and if they want to get momentum back on their side, try and at least get a couple of first downs here and get that field position back in their favor.
Yeah, I get the feeling there's going to be a big play made. I don't know if it's going to be an offensive play or a defensive play or even special team play, but I just got that feeling that something big is going to happen and maybe switch the momentum for good.
Katoy one-on-one out on this near side. He's got safety help over the top, however. Yancey looks his way. Now he's going to scramble. Yancey with a big run, and he's going to quarterback slide wisely there. Out across the 35-yard line, Tristan Yancey doing it with his legs on that play.
Yeah, great play by Yancey there. As soon as the pressure got, the Raider rush went past him, he knew he was probably going to be able to. There's a flag on the play, and it looks to be another hold against the Rams. But
oh my goodness!
But a good decision by Yancey. It is a hold against the Rams, but good decision by Yancey, and did show his legs and top marks for the slide, because I know a couple times he's been criticized a little bit for his sliding ability as a quarterback, but that one was textbook and exactly the way you do it.
Costly holding penalties here against Langley once again. Going to back this up another 10 yards. This one will go back to the 10-yard line here. And it's a 1st and 20 once again. And it's just so hard to convert on a 1st and 20. Now let's see what the Rams can do here with 1:42 to go in the third quarter. 2 in the backfield. 3 receivers high wide side. Katoy, the lone man here. Yancey's going to look for him on a little button hook. Another flag comes flying.
Yeah, it's going to be another hold against the Rams.
The Rams going backwards here.
They're going backwards. We'll see if we can pick it up. I think it was somebody on the left-hand side of the offensive line, but couldn't make out a number there. But the Rams seemingly going backwards, and this is going to be a real daunting task to get out of this without having to give up a safety here.
Trying to pick up the number here on the hold for the Rams. They'll put the ball down on the 5-yard line. And it's a long way to go. Let's call it 1st and 26 here for Rams' first down. Carter stands 2 yards deep in his end zone. Yancey going to go under center. And it'll be a running play to Carter. Tried to jump step him in as he gets back out to the 11-yard line.
Yeah, trying to get any momentum there you can, try and just get some positive yards. And give yourself at least an opportunity to make a play on second and still very, very long.
So it'll be an interesting play call here as Aglanetto comes back into the football game for this second down play. He'll deliver the call to Yansu, who will step into the huddle and deliver it to the offensive players.
I still like the idea of a screen here. It's a safer call, but with Joe Carter, he could crack one of these. And second and long, worst case scenario, bring your punt team out. But
J.J. Jackson to this near wide side. Javon Katoya, the top of your screen. Yansu out of the shotgun will take a 3-step drop, looks near side. He'll sling one out to Aglanetto, turns it upfield, stiff arms a man, and yanked out of bounds around the 25. And he'll be about 5 yards short of the first down, and Langley will have to punt.
Now, that obviously the Raiders will be happy getting their defense off the field, but if you're the Rams, you're quite happy in this particular case. Even though you didn't get enough yards for the first down, you did get enough yards to not have to give up a safety. So that could be a potentially big play, even though obviously no first down was gained by the Rams, but the field position battle enables them to punt the ball away.
It's a long throw to the wide side of the field, always a little dicey to make that long, wide out throw, but Yansu got enough arm strength on it to get it to Aglanetto as Katoy stands at his 11 to kick to Braun, who stands at his 49. Pressure from the Raiders. Katoy just got it away. Braun takes it at the 46. Rams downfield again. Braun lowers the hat and gets gang tackled at the 55.
Good downfield coverage by the Rams. Field position good for the Raiders here as they'll scrimmage at midfield. So, again, as we near the end of the third quarter, I just get the feeling that this game is, as it kind of ping-pongs back and forth here, that we had a little bit of fireworks to start the third quarter, and I just get the feeling something big is going to happen again.
Wouldn't be a playoff game in the BCFC if it didn't. And just 7 seconds to go here in this third quarter. And the ball spotted right down on the left hash mark at the 55-yard line for Vancouver Island, down 8. Motion to the line. Rhett Williams the handoff. No, it's play action, and it's a bad throw, maybe the first of the day from Jake LaBerge. Yeah, overshot Braun and missed him by about 2.5 yards, as that'll bring third quarter action to a close.
Yeah,
and again, the two teams, they only have to just turn around here as the ball right on the midfield stride.
They're making it easy for it. It's almost like it's scripted. A good Jake, you could see as soon as Jake threw that pass, he immediately clapped his hands and he wasn't happy with himself as he had a receiver out in the flat, just wasn't able to connect. And Rams had some pressure on him, but Jake usually makes that throw with ease.
So it'll be 2nd and 10 here as we'll start the final 15 minutes. 45 down, 15 to go here in the semifinal number 1 of the BCFC playoffs. Powered by Treeland Remax and Kahuniverse.com. As it's Jake Elliott, Tyler McLaren with you here for this playoff game. Huskers and Sun tomorrow, 1 o'clock from the Apple Bowl. You can check it on BCFC TV tomorrow. But it's going to come down to this final 15 minutes here for these two teams, and the Rams have the 8-point lead on their home field. Trying to steer this one home after starting out this game down 9-0.
Yeah, slow start by the Rams, but they have been able to right the ship, and now they're settling in, and you can see that they're going to rely on their defense, and they know they've got confidence in that, and they speak volumes of that all season long.
Well, here we go on a 2nd and 10. LeBears will go up under center for it, and he'll drop deep back, and he'll look deep. This one's up for grabs. Braun went up for it, couldn't make the catch, came down hard on the turf as well. But again, Langley, pretty good coverage back there. Frilot in there as well. And Langley will get off the field here, and if they can avoid some penalties here and not go backwards on their drives, in this one they should come out okay, but some costly holding calls over the last couple of drives here in Langley have really cost them moving the football down the field.
Yeah, the field position should be changing here. The Rams might get the ball around the 30 or 35-yard line.
Here's the punt from Hunchak. It's a high one. Jackson will take it. And he'll go down quickly. Good coverage downfield by the Raider kick team that time, as the Rams will start right around the 29-yard line. Make sure you're following BCFC_media for all your in-game updates and all the news you need to know about in the BCFC. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, any dirty jokes, recipes you want to share my way, you can do so via Twitter at PXP4 Sports.
Better field position for the Rams here. Look to try and milk the clock a little bit, get Joe Carter involved in the game. Wouldn't be surprised to see at least one running play on this particular drive.
We'll put the ball on the 28-yard line here for Yansu and company. High formation in the backfield. Carter, the deep man. And Yancey will play action. He'll look deep. He's got Katoy wide open. Javon Katoy down the far sideline. Shakes off a man. Tiptoeing the sideline. He's going to walk it into the end zone. Touchdown Rams.
Huge play by Javon Katoy. I think that's his 4th of the day, if I'm not mistaken.
His 4th touchdown of the day. And this one was a monster. Warm your hands, boys, as the Rams make it 33-19 on a massive strike there from Yancey to Katoy.
Yeah, 82 yards there for Javon Katoy for touchdown number 4. And you can see if we get a replay there, the Raider defender clearly bought on the play action pass and basically almost stopped, and Javon just kept going. And
there was nobody within 10 yards of Javon Katoy down that sideline. And then the smaller defensive back there, and Arabsky just could not handle the big man as Katoy just stiff-armed him out of the way and said, I'm heading to the end zone, fella. Look out.
Yeah, and Arabsky is a strong guy, and he's a big guy. So for Javon to keep his balance and able to get some separation there was huge. Great play by Javon Katoy. That's the big play I thought we were getting.
You called it, Prez. 82 yards to Javon Katoy.
Now the Rams take a delayed game penalty here. I think they're missing a body there, so good call not taking a timeout, because that obviously is not a good move to do on a convert situation.
Well, that next score was a big one with the 8-point lead for the Rams, and they make it 33-19 now in this 4th quarter with just about a minute gone in it. And that is a huge scoring play there. Javon Katoy, his 4th touchdown of the afternoon.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, he had 131 yards at the half, so we know he's over 200 yards. He might be he might have 3 before this is all said and done.
Well, a monster performance for Javon Katoy. And how about Tristan Yancey as well, Tyler, who came in relief of Duncan Little in that 2nd quarter after Little went down with an injury. And how about the game that Tristan Yancey has put forward here for Langley in a real tough position to come into in a playoff game, and has just played lights out.
Hugely tough, and I mean, hats off to Tristan Yancey. And you can see the Rams have enough confidence.
He had the one play where he had the fumble, but I mean, other than that, an interception, overthrown ball, but he's made so many more good plays than he has bad. And to step into a situation like this, it's not an easy thing to do, and Yancey has handled it wonderfully.
He's handled it wonderfully, and even when he has made a mistake, and even when he bad reads or overthrows, or the interception, the overthrow, the fumble, his body language when he goes to the sidelines and when
forget about
it. Move on to the next play. And I'm sure the coaches will preach that, but it's really refreshing when you have a guy who you don't even have to say anything to, where they just basically say, let me throw, let me throw, let me throw.
Well, important kick coverage here for Langley after the big touchdown. I want to get downfield and wrap up here. And Braun, who can burn, look out, and I called it. One man to beat. Braun did this last time against Langley. Down the sideline, and knocked out of bounds down at the 5-yard line.
Wow, big return by Braun there, changing the momentum right back, and Rams were lucky that he didn't score a major, but huge play for the Raiders there, and they needed that as the momentum was shifting the way.
I hate to honk my own horn, Tyler, I really do, but
do it anyway.
I'm going to do it anyway because I just had a feeling that Langley, after scoring the big touchdown, sometimes you can lose focus. You think, okay, we're sitting pretty now. But when you have a return man like Braun who can cook with the best of them here, and he just got past that initial wave, and you're not going to run that guy down from behind. Unfortunately for Langley, they did. They just got a little clip of the heel to slow him up just a touch to get him out of bounds there, but now it is a costly return to give up for the Rams after scoring a big touchdown there, and the Raiders are going to put themselves right back into this football game if they can get into the end zone.
Yeah, we have an injury on the far side of the field, but great return by Braun, and he's explosive. He reminds me, I mean, the Raiders have had a couple guys like that in the past. I think of a few years ago when they had a guy by the name of Dustin Rodriguez, and he was same type of build as Braun, and just electrifying fast. Wasn't the tallest guy in the world, but just electrifying speed and break tackles. Like another guy that they've had in the past, Dylan Sherratt, who ended up going on and playing at University of Manitoba. Same type of thing, just that breakaway speed, and you see that with these guys here. And Ram fans, I mean, they'll obviously remember a guy about that stature by the name of Nick Downey, and he was known.
John Beckerleg, not a bad one. John
Beckerleg, another one. So these return games and the team stress all that kind of stuff because it's such an advantage where
big wide field,
and if you can crack one, it's a quick score.
And that is Braun. That is slow to get back up. He's been dinged up a few times here, and he's got a long walk back to the Raiders sideline. He's got to come all the way across the field here. He is going to try and leg it out himself, but clearly in some discomfort here for Jared Braun after close to a 95 yard return off that ensuing kickoff after the big Javon Katoy touchdown.
Yeah, just looking at while we have a minute, we had some statistical information which our game commissioner of our league, Paul Short, is fantastic at doing. And the Rams' record for receiving yards in a game, and I believe this still categorizes the playoffs or regular season, Ben Wilson back in 2007, and he had 265 yards actually against these Vancouver Island Raiders. So
Katoy got to be very close to that.
He's got to be very close to that type of numbers.
We'll see if we can get that for you here momentarily as well. As big plays coming up here for both teams as Braun unable to get it into the end zone. The ball is on the 6 yard line here. It's a 15-point lead here for Langley right now, but Vancouver Island knocking on the door here, trying to cut into that early in this fourth quarter. It's a 1st and goal. LaBerge will stand in the shotgun as he waves North Rainey. And here's the handoff. Williams lowers the head down to the 2.
Yeah, very close.
Closer
there
to the 1 maybe, and they'll call it 2nd and goal.
Like the call there, lots of time left for the Raiders. 2 scores. Easily keep Rhett Williams involved in the game. No need to run the ball here. Pass the ball.
And now we have an injured Ram down on the field lane on the 1 yard line.
Yeah, another interesting, as we look at some records, is the Rams' record for touchdowns in a game. And that Javon Katoy has 4, and that is the record currently right now. Jesse Ritchie back in 1999 and Ben Wilson again in 2007. So Javon's only 1 away from potentially breaking another Ram record.
I'm not sure who the injured Ram is down on the field right now as they continue to work on him. And this gives Doug Hawking and company a chance to talk to Jake LaBerge and think about what kind of play they want to run here on a 2nd and goal from the 1.
Yeah, so just getting that information while we have a break. Javon's got 224 unofficially at this point, unofficial of course until the game's finalized, but 224 yards receiving and is only about 40 or so away from Ben Wilson's club record.
Lots of time left in this one to eclipse that mark. And still trying to pick up the number down there for Langley as the training staff kind of surrounds him here. But a big run back from Jared Braun has put the Raiders in a good spot here as they...
Trying to see what number that is. It looks like...
one of the interior linemen.
Trying to get a number here if we can. If he turns around, we'll be able to see it. Number 33 was the injury for the Rams there.
It's a Coley, the leading tackler for Langley, so they'll be without his services for this big 2nd down and goal play. Everybody jams up in the middle, expecting the run to come to Rhett Williams. LaBerge under center. It is Williams. He's held up, and an extra surge diving for the goal line. Rams think they have the football.
Yeah, the
Raiders think they have a touchdown. Rams did come away with the football, but no signal here from the referee. I think it's going to be 3rd and goal.
That's what I'm leaning towards too. I think they got his initial surge stopped, but I think the ball came out and the Ram came up with it after the fact. I think we're going to have 3rd down from the 1 yard line.
Rhett Williams really reached out with the pigskin to try and get it across the goal line. They might have lost about a half a yard, but it is 3rd and goal here from the 1 yard line, and the Raider offense going to stay on the field. Play of the football game coming up right now. LaBerge quickly up under center. Quarterback sneak. He got stuffed.
No.
He didn't get it.
He did not get that.
He tried to go up and over. They're going to call it a touchdown.
Whoa.
Oh, my goodness.
We'll have to see on the replay here because I thought when he reached, all he has to do is break the plane, but I thought originally when he reached that his momentum was stopped, and I didn't think he went anywhere.
I think they need to talk this one over here.
Both teams think they've stopped. The Raiders think they scored, and the Rams think they stopped them. So Heath Edelston will have the official call here.
It is a touchdown for the Raiders. questionable touchdown for the Raiders, but it will count. My goodness. Fortunate there for LeBerge and the Raiders, to say the least. Extra point is through. 34-26 Langley now, with 12:34 to go. After it looked like Langley had come up with the goal line stand, but the touchdown will count for Vancouver Island, and it's back to an 8-point lead for the Rams.
Yeah, and a play like that, I mean, you saw Jake reach out, and I mean, what a lot of people may think is if he all he has to do is crack the plane. So even if he cracks the plane itself and again gets pushed back, he doesn't have to stay in the end zone. So I think that, I mean, we don't know from our
tough
angle.
For our angle
tough
to see.
From our angle.
But it just looked like where contact was made was outside the end zone. But again, from our angle, very tough to tell, and put the faith in the officials down there that they did make the right call. But give the Rams some credit. They tried.
Absolutely.
They almost came up with a huge stop there, but Jake LeBerge able to poke the nose of the football over the goal line to get the Raiders back within 8 here.
And they say game of inches. They're not lying.
So all to play for now with 12 and a half minutes to go here in this fourth quarter. Here comes the kickoff. It's a low one. It'll be taken by Aglianetto at his 12-yard line. Up the far side, waiting for blockers to get out in front. Aglianetto across the 30. And he'll take it to the 32, and the Rams with decent field position to start this drive. And again, we talked about that last drive being an important one to get a couple of first downs, get momentum. It ended up being an 82-yard touchdown to Katoy. But after that big kick return from Braun, the touchdown from Vancouver Island, it's an 8-point game again. Now you want to play a little field position. You want to play a little clock management here, but you still want to stay aggressive offensively if you're Langley.
Absolutely, and I think you have to keep going where your bread is buttered and where you've had success. We haven't heard from Liam Stewart much in this second half, but that might be a direction they look as well.
1st and 10 from the 32 for Yansu. He will throw on first down. Looks deep for Katoy again. He's going to go up for it and double covered. And incomplete.
Yeah, double cover there. That one kind of drifted more on the inside of where I think he probably wanted to throw it on the outside of Katoy's, over his outside shoulder.
So they definitely stay aggressive on that first down call. But now we'll be staring at a 2nd and 10. As they'll huddle up back at the 25. Almost a full moon here on a Saturday night from McLeod Athletic Park.
Beautiful night for football for sure.
Can't ask for a better night for playoff football here in a late October evening on a Saturday night from the township of Langley. Yancey will drop back. He'll look to throw. Deep ball. Stewart
he had
him. He had him and overshot him. And it'll fall incomplete. It'll be 3rd down, and Langley will have to kick away.
Yeah, I think Stewart did have a step on the guy, and also he just kind of stopped his route, and then when he went to get going, the ball was just overthrown. But I keep looking back and saying, okay, keep dialing Joe Carter's number on the backfield. The passes right now are all of the longer variety, and I keep thinking that they're going to come back with one of these intermediate 10 or 15-yard routes.
So no Jared Braun for this return on this kick as Andre Gordon back deep to receive.
Yeah, I see Braun down right in front of our stands here, and he is walking around under his own steam, but not with the helmet on, obviously.
Katoy to kick. And over-ender. Here's the catch at the 40. Running near sideline.
Great
cut
play.
down. Flag comes in as well. And I think that's going to be a penalty on the Raiders, but great special teams play there from Jacob Stebbings.
Great play by Stebbins. He kept the contain on the outside, didn't let the returner get to the outside corner. Textbook play by Stebbins on the special teams for the Rams.
And the penalty flag should back up VI another 10 yards from the 37 as well.
Hamilton, just for those that are following out of the out-of-town scoreboard, Hamilton did win 49-0 over the GTA Grizzlies, so that's a expected score for them, as Hamilton is the favorite to seemingly come out of the Ontario Football Conference.
Don't forget Huskers and Sun from the Apple Bowl tomorrow on BCFC TV. 1 o'clock kickoff. As here comes LeBerge and the Raiders with a 1st and 10. Down 8 points with 11:03 to go in the fourth quarter. Referee waves play in. North Rainey across the formation. He's going to look to throw. Looked like some contact out on the edge there. That went uncalled.
Yeah, you can see the Raider bench on that one as they tried to set up a bit of trickery there. And the Ram defender got right in the way of Eli Nelms-Horton. I am quite surprised there was no penalty on the play.
He definitely got away with it.
He got away with that because Eli's momentum was taking him downfield, and the Rams defensive guy had stopped.
Blackwell, I think, was looking to North Rainey to move up and tackle him, not realizing that he was planning on throwing the football, and they just kind of collided. I don't think Blackwell meant to. He just wasn't looking at Horton. 2nd and 10. LeBears to throw. And out to Rainey. He's got the first down. On a 13-yard completion, that'll move the sticks out across the 40-yard line.
Good play there by the Raiders. They just basically run the 2 receivers on the outside out, and North Rainey was able to run it out, and it was totally clear there as both the defenders had to go with the deep threats. So a good call, good pass, good catch by the Raiders, and they were able to move the sticks.
Ball on the 42-yard line, and again they target for lot with North Rainey moving across the field. And 13 unable to stick with number 1 on that long pattern. Here's LeBears to throw on 1st and 10. Over the middle. Pass is, what are they going to say?
They're going to call it a catch. They're going to call he's coming in.
They will call it a catch. The Raiders moving the football here.
Sticks are moving there. Jake LeBears threw it where only his receiver was going to catch it. Really close play here, but the officials think that it was a catch. We'll see on the replay.
Mike West with the completion, and tough to see from that angle whether he maintained possession going to the ground.
Good cover there by Kyle Clarat, but with a good catch by Mike West.
Ball to the 54-yard line. Here's Rhett Williams on a draw. Wrapped up nicely after a 4-yard gain. Blackwell in on the tackle. Will bring up a 2nd down.
Williams had a bit of a head of steam there, but Blackwell with great open field tackle. And if he didn't make that tackle, I suspect the sticks would have been moving again for the Raiders. Really good tackle there by Anthony Blackwell. Really good tackle.
Big play coming here with the clock moving down to 8:40. It's a 2nd and 6, just on the Langley side of the football field here from the 53. Trip receivers to this near side. LeBears will take a 3-step drop. He'll look deep down the near sideline and just out of the reach of West. Klassen in coverage, step for step, as it falls incomplete. Man, have we seen a lot of deep shots downfield in this football game.
A lot of shots and a lot of weapons on the field, and it surprised me a little bit, but Joel Klassen there was in good position. Rams brought some pressure there, so the Raiders probably got the play call that they want with the deep shot that they were able to take, but good cover there by Klassen for the Rams.
Big stop on defense as a downed Ram way back in the secondary. Maybe it looks like some cramping late in this football game. Usually you see that back in August and early September, not here late in October, but I think anything too serious, maybe just a calf cramp here.
Yeah, I was able to. Was at the BC Lion game last night, and that was another heck of a football game. And
sure was.
The home team was able to come away, so Lions
win and you're in.
Win and you're in, and they were able to do what they needed to do, and now obviously set their sights potentially on hosting a playoff game, which would be
my boy,
fantastic.
My boy Travis Lule, who I called the Subway Bowl with a year ago at BC Place, and that epic finish between Terry Fox and New Westminster that came down to the final play of the game. Travis did an excellent job there. It was good to get to know him and send him a tweet last night saying, great job leading the Lions into the playoffs. Go get yourself a Grey Cup, and then I'll meet you at the Subway Bowl in early December. And he said he's in for that, high school football fans. So look forward to that.
Travis is one of the quote unquote good guys out there. And,
sure is.
And I don't think anybody would not smile when they see the success he's had and the injuries he's had throughout his career, and especially lately. But to see him come back and play the way he's
what
playing,
he's gone through
awesome.
Physically has just been remarkable to watch him fight through all of that and come back and be very successful this season.
Wouldn't be surprised to see number 14 and a coach with a coaching hat and whistle at some point down the road.
Absolutely. Ball tends to Noya. One limping off the field here for the Rams, who wait for the punt here from Hunchak, who stands at his 44 to kick away. 34-26 Langley with 8:26 to go here in this fourth quarter. As the Raiders set to give the football back here to Langley. And Hunchak takes a low snap off the deck. Got a good spiral on. He's going to drive Jackson back to his 15. He's wrapped up immediately And no host collar tackle there. It looked like more jersey than pads there, but still yanked down from behind as Jackson pleading his case won't get the call. And Langley will start this drive pretty deep at their own 15-yard line.
Yeah, good tackle there by trying to make out a number of, I think it's number 11 as he's coming down.
DeAndre Gordon.
Sorry, number 91 on action. No, it was 11 on that one. So good tackle there by number 11 for the Raiders downfield.
I was going to say, that'd be impressive if the lineman Barliski was downfield that quickly.
Yeah, good play by him, and the Rams now backed up again in the shadows of their own goalposts.
Let's see what they dial up here on 1st and 10 as Yansu will work out of the shotgun with Carter to his left. He will throw on 1st down. He'll look for Katoy. He's got a catch. Katoy.
The ball, hold on.
Tried to reach ahead for the 1st down marker. He'll pick up close to 8.
Yeah, that was dangerous there. If you're a Ram fan, as Katoya, the ball was in his right hand there, and that was very close to potentially being put onto the turf for a potential Raider defender.
Good positive play on 1st down, however, and now 2nd and very manageable for Langley as they got to get just past the 25 for a 1st down. It'll be a 2nd and a long one, closer to 2. As Yansu up and under center, Cusker, the up back, Carter, the deep man. Here comes pressure up the middle from VI. Carter looking for the sticks. He's not going to get there.
Brody Taylor, great play by the Raiders there, holding the gain. He probably lost yards there.
Well, they tried to play it conservative and go to the run, and they lost a couple and will have to kick away. Quick 2 and out here for Langley as Raider defense stepping up here in this 4th quarter. And will force a punt here from the Rams. 6:45 and clock moving here in this 4th quarter. Katoy back at his 10. And it's Andre again standing at his 44 here. No sign of Jared Braun. Katoy, low snap, takes it off the deck. Gets a foot into it. Decent kick, bounces at the 50. Takes a ram hop down to the 41. And Andre wrapped up quickly at the 46-yard line. And that's where the Raiders will set up shop and look to manufacture a scoring drive down 8 points.
Good downfield coverage for the Rams, but again, the Raiders, when they're eventually going to have success here when they're dealing with short fields. And once again, good field position here for them. And again, there's lots of time left, and with an 8-point game, if they can get a couple 1st downs, even a field goal at this point sets it up and keeps that score within 1.
That was Alex France in on the special teams tackle. 1st and 10, VI from the right hash at the 47-yard line. Is a bit of a conference here from the officials as he's around out onto the field as well, barking instruction to his defensive unit as there was an injury timeout for Cam Cross, who will have to come off the field for at least a play as well. Braun continuing to try and warm up along the Raiders sideline. More than anything, trying to convince his coach he's okay to go, but I'm just not sure he is. So they miss him in the special teams game and offensively here for VI. 1st and 10. And LeBerge back to throw. Anoye after LeBerge from behind, tried to chop the ball free. LeBerge sidesteps the man, then falls forward and somehow gets about a 3-yard gain. It looked like he was going to be dropped for a big loss. Anoye pressuring all the way, tried to come in with that tomahawk chop, if you will, and try and knock that ball free, but LeBerge unable to get away completely, but does pick up a couple.
Yeah, Anoye's absolutely athletic defensive lineman here, and Jake's no slouch when it comes to running, and you can see he knows number 99 is in the rearview mirror, and he's just trying to get what he can there, which is positive yards though for the Raiders as they get past their own 50.
2nd and 7 from the 50. Rams loaded up on the line. They'll come up the gut. LeBerge stands in there, delivers, ball tipped, and they're going to say incomplete. As he tried to go after that and keep it off the turf, but couldn't do it. And pretty good defense there from Langley as they'll get off the field here quickly, and a 2 and out on the Raiders with 5:25 to go. And each possession just becomes more and more paramount now.
Yeah, I wonder maybe if it might be an opportunity for the Raiders potentially to look at potentially a fake here. This would be not a bad time to try it, and we'll see if the Rams are prepared.
From the 50-yard line, And when you got such a good kicker in Hunchak, I just think you got to let him do his job here. Agnonetto stepping up on this one. And
dangerous. Going to get the no yards call.
He will. I don't know if this will be the 15 or the 5-yard variety, as that one kind of hit the turf, but I'm not sure if what they're going to call here. It's a big call, really, whether it's 5 or 15 yards.
Huge call there. And Nick absolutely tried to do the right thing there by trying to catch the ball in the air and knowing that a Raider was in the 5-yard zone. But we'll see what the officials call.
It wasn't a great kick. And it looked like they were going to call 15, but now they're going to call 5.
Yeah. And that's a tough one, too, because the ball did hit the ground, and Nick tried to kind of trap it there, but still had the right intention there, did get the 5-yard penalty, and now the Rams have a little bit more breathing room starting at their own 35.
35-yard line for Langley, 5:09 to go with an 8-point lead here in the fourth quarter of this semifinal playoff game. Yancey will stick the mouth guard in. He'll wipe off the hand on the towel. He'll crouch under center. Here comes the motion to the line. Yancey, the play action, rolls out to this near side. He's got Katoy wide open. He'll try and turn upfield, sidesteps the man. He's got the first down. 4 Raiders trying to tackle him, and Katoy refusing to go down as he picks up 15.
That's just sheer size right there by Javon Katoy, as he looked to have almost been stopped maybe a yard or two short of the first down, right in front of the Raider bench, and then just used his size and power and was able to get probably about a gain of 14 on the play, if not 15, and move the sticks for the Rams.
Big play there for Langley as they get the ball out close to the 50. They'll mark it down on the 49-yard line, as Javon Katoy just continues to have a massive day here for Langley at the wide-out position. Clock starts to run again as they spot the football on a 1st and 10. Yancey again wipes that hand off on the backside, crouches under center. He'll pitch it this time to Joe Carter Jr., looking for a block from Cusker. He'll bury his man, Cusker. Got a good block. Carter can only pick up a couple towards the Raiders' sideline, however, and it'll bring up a 2nd and long.
Yeah, the Rams tried to run a toss to the weak side of the field there, but the Raiders strung it out defensively, played it really well, forcing Carter to keep expanding wide and wasn't able to turn his shoulders and get upfield.
Well, 2nd down, and let's call it 9, as they only gave Carter a yard.
Big play here. If the Rams can somehow convert here, that would continue to milk a bit of clock in their favor. But the Raider defense, again, trying to get off the field, trying to get their offense back on for potentially tying score.
Katoy will go to the high, wide side. And he's isolated out there with just one man in coverage in Hardisty. But Yancey will roll near side. Now he looks to run, and he's going to be wrapped up and sacked. Flag comes in. 2 flags come flying. And Raiders look like it's against them. I think it might be a late hit here.
Might be, it looks like a late hit against the Raiders, and Yancey looked a little confused there as he was set. All he had to do was set his feet and throw, but he kind of.
Well, I don't think anyone. It looked like maybe somebody ran the wrong route, and Yancey was looking for somebody in an area that nobody was in and didn't really know what to do, so just pulled the ball down. Now this is a huge penalty call here against Vancouver Island. Unnecessary roughness. 15 yards and an automatic 1st down for the Rams.
Huge call there for the Rams in their favor. And now they switched the field position battle where now they're going to be well into Raider territory, as well as move the sticks, as well as keep the clock ticking down. We're now under 4 minutes.
Raiders are about to get off the field, but a late hit on the quarterback will keep this drive alive. And that is a costly penalty there on Vancouver Island. Ball down to the 48-yard line. Here a VI. Yancey barking out signals. 2 in the backfield. Yancey. He'll hand off to Carter with a head of steam up the middle, and he'll pick up 4 as he gets down to the 45-yard line on a hard contact play there, right in the trenches.
Positive yards there for Joe. Raiders play it fairly well. You could see Carter there had 2 hands on the ball and trying to make sure no turnovers here for the Rams and get positive yards and keep the ball in your possession.
Yancey across to the Rams sideline to get the play call, and out back into the huddle. Clock continues to move as we approach the 3-minute warning here in Langley. Rams break the huddle. To the line they come. Katoy to this near side. J.J. Jackson high to the wide. Liam Stewart in there as well.
Hurry up, delay a game.
Got to go quickly here.
Delay a game there against the Rams. You could see the penalty, the back judge there, and he was watching the clock. Hand went up and delay a game. That's a costly penalty.
It sure is. It'll back Langley up 5 yards and now be a 2nd and about 12 here.
The only good news for the Ram fans on that one is the fact that it was on the outside of the 3-minute warning, so you don't lose the down in that particular play. So it still will be second down as we now hit the 3-minute warning. Had that been on the opposite side of the 3-minute warning, that's also lost it down for them.
Okay, that's a good call. I did not know that.
Yeah, inside 3-minute warning, delay of games, immediate loss of the yards, and the loss of down. So that's the good news for the Rams. Bad news, they are moving back 5 yards.
They got to get to the 38 of VI for a first down. As the referees trying to quiet the crowd. The Raider sideline trying to implore the crowd here. And what has to be the play of the game coming up for both teams.
And you can see here again now, as we get the field, two safeties are deep. One, Arabsky's drifting over to the same side that Katoy's on, so they're going to try and do whatever they can to take number 15 and blue out of this particular play.
Yancey will be in the shotgun here for this second and long. He's got three receivers high. Carter in the backfield. Now Yancey going to come up under center. Got to snap the football. He will. It's a handoff to Carter. He'll bust through. Carter, very close to first down yardage, and now decision time here for Howie Zarong.
He's going to be about a yard short from my eyes, and that's a great run by Joe Carter. Get the Rams even close. Big decision here. I mean, they might have some time to think about it. He's going to be short, but I mean, if it's me, you can look at it one of two ways. Finish this off with a big first down, or put the ball in your defense's hand and then make them win the game for you.
Yeah, no indecision here from Langley. They are going to go. They kept the offense on the field right away. Yancey's going to go up and under center. He's going to quarterback sneak it. He's got the surge.
He's got enough.
And I think he's got the first down. Let's check the spot here from the official.
Looking at where the
Raiders think they stopped it. Rams think they got it. Let's remember the officials gave the VI a call on the touchdown.
They're probably going to measure this one either way. From where the foot is on the official, to me it looks like he has it, but my eyes have been. They're going to measure this, and that's the right thing to do at this time of the game. But
game of inches here, and this
to me it looks like he's. Looking at our angle, to me it looks like he has it, but what a big call this is, depending on what happens here.
I'll wave the chain gang out here. And the drama of a spot here.
It doesn't get much better, does it?
Let's see.
He is.
I think it's short.
Waiting to put it down. Raiders seem to be more exuberant right now than the Rams.
It's short.
Wow. Probably by about 3 or 4 inches. That is a huge play for the Raider defense. They will take over probably about their own 38-yard line. Big turnover for the Raiders as we're just about 2.5 minutes left here in the fourth.
2:33 to play, fourth quarter. Raiders on a 3rd and 1 come up with a stop on a quarterback keeper from Yancey. Inches short from Yancey as it came down to a spot. And they come up just short, so the Raiders stay alive here, down 8 with 2.5 to go.
Big momentum change for the Raiders here, and Rams have to just settle down and play good defense.
Late to find their defensive assignments. LeBerge wants to throw on first down. He's got an out to Jared Braun, who's back in the game. And tackled out of bounds by Blackwell after a 5-yard gain. That'll stop the clock and bring up 2nd and 5.
Reminder, too, the Rams had to use that timeout earlier in the half. We'll see if that comes back to haunt them as the Raiders still have both of theirs.
Still a ways to go here. Ball is on the 44-yard line. Raiders break the huddle. West is out to the high side. Clarat all over him. And here's LeBerge as he waves his receivers. Low snap. He'll deliver the football. It's caught by North Rainey. He's got a first down. Langley trying to yank that ball free. But it'll be a 7-yard gain as they get it across the 50-yard line to the 52 and a fresh set of downs.
What a finish we could have here as we're still just north of 2 minutes. Lots of time for both teams here in the Canadian game. Anything can happen.
We'll put it down on the 51, and the Raiders will set up quickly. They'll start the ball, start the clock. LeBerge, empty backfield, looks deep, fires a low pass. That one's caught. Excellent catch there.
What a catch there by Nelms Horton.
It was only a 3-yard gain, but it was an amazing catch as LeBerge put everything he had behind that ball. 2nd and 7 now. Ball right on the 55. Clock starts to move once again. Here comes the snap. It's another low one. LeBarish with all sorts of time in the pocket. Here comes a flag flying out pattern. That one's caught.
I think this is coming back for the holding.
I think this one is coming back as well, as it came right in the area of holding here on Vancouver Island, and this could be another costly one here on the Raiders.
Costly penalty there as the Raiders had the first down on 2nd and 6 or 7 there, but Rams defensive line was, you could see on the replay, you couldn't really see, but there was a hold there on that one.
And a couple of low snaps for Jake LeBerge as well, who's done well, but Langley not really bringing pressure on those last 2 plays, giving LeBerge lots of time to survey down the field.
And the downside of that, obviously, it takes the quarterback's eyes down to the ground and away from where they want him to be, which is down the field and looking at his receivers.
Well, got to get to the Langley 49 for a first down. Ball is on the 45. Here's LeBerge to throw. Here comes a little bit of pressure. He's flushed out of the pocket. Lobs went up for grabs. Nobody home. And that's very close to intentional grounding as well. I'm not sure he got outside the tackle boxes, and there was no receiver in the vicinity.
Yeah, big play here now, 3rd down. If I'm Doug Hawking, I might be, with 2 timeouts left, they're going to go for it. I was going to say he might be able to punt to play defense.
Yeah.
With Hunchak's big leg, he might crack one here, but Doug's going to roll the dice here with minute 154 left here.
It's a 3rd and long, and they're going to go for it. Langley fans to their feet here on this big 3rd down play. Raiders, 4 receivers to the near side. LeBerge back to throw, looks over the middle. Pass is deflected and incomplete. Rams will get off the field defensively with 1:49 to go, and we'll have the ball in good field position here as well.
Big play
with the
for
8-point lead.
Yeah, excuse me, Jake. Big play for the Rams defense there, getting out the field. The Raiders offense there, though, they had a couple of receivers in the same spot, so I think at least 2 of their receivers ran the wrong play because they had 2 receivers in the vicinity there.
Yeah, they had 4 receivers to this near side, which is the short side of the field, as they went from the right hash mark. And there was just so many bodies in one little area of the field. Kind of hard to figure out. Now what do we got? A flag comes flying. I think a late substitution here.
No, I think it's Javon Katoya there said something to the officials, and now they're going to. Oh, no, maybe it isn't. No, sorry, it isn't. That's where they had too many men in the huddle, which is a new rule this year now, where if you have 13 in, then they will call out a penalty.
Well, they moved the ball back to the midfield strike.
Javon had left the huddle, though, and he was already making his way to the sidelines. And I'm surprised that they threw that.
Still a 1st and 10 here. And now ball possession here, crucial for Langley with 1:49 to play. Raiders do have 2 timeouts. Here's Yancey, the handoff to Carter. He's got a big hole up through the middle. Joe Carter, a 1st down and more. Looking for a block on the edge from Stewart and pushed out of bounds. Trying to get down inbounds. Let's see if they spot him in or out. I guess the clock will start on the 1st down regardless here.
Yeah, no, they'll rule him out of bounds on this one. But a huge run for Carter there, and that is a big play on 1st and 20 there for the Rams.
Ball goes down to the 29-yard line, and maybe the biggest run of the game for Joe Carter Jr. comes at the most important time of the game. And a nice little block upfield from Liam Stewart as well to spring Carter for a few extra yards.
Yeah, I think you'll see a steady diet at number 27 for the Rams here. Is just with a minute 40 left in the game.
Minute 40, 1st and 10, Langley from the 29. Yancey with a handoff to Carter. He'll protect the football and go down after gaining a couple.
With an 8-point lead, too, obviously even a field goal here for the Rams
huge.
Makes it absolutely huge, and now it's a 2-score game. So I'm sure the Rams are probably telling their Joe Carter when he's handing the ball off or receiving the ball just to make sure he's got 2 hands on it and no turnovers. If you're the Raiders, you're doing the exact opposite. You're doing whatever you can to get your hand in there and strip that out.
No timeout here from the Raiders either. They have 2, but the clock is running. Down to 1:23 and still ticking, as it's 2nd down here for Langley. As Yancey will play action, looks into the end zone. Javon Katoy for number 5. Incomplete.
Wow. I thought he was going to have a gutsy call there by the Rams on 2nd down, throwing the ball.
We do have a flag down.
Holding against the Rams.
Now interesting call here for VI. Do they decline or do they push him back 10 yards and put him out of field goal range?
I would be declining this one personally and forcing the Rams into a 3rd down situation. With time and that, they can kick a field goal, but you never know. If they do push them back, then obviously that makes that field goal that much more challenging.
Penalty is declined. Ball is on the 23-yard line. Yeah, even a single point here makes it a 2-score game. That's a good point by our man Chris Schwartz down there. 8 point now. Even a missed field goal gets you a single, which makes it a 2-score game. So biggest thing here is just get the kick away and kick it as hard as you can and try and get it as deep into that end zone as you can. Sheelan from the 30. He made one from 38. High snap. Here's Sheelan up, and kick is good. Kick is good for Sheelan.
That's the other alternative, is just kick it through the uprights and get yourself to an expanded lead even more.
Langley can taste it now. 64 seconds away and an 11-point lead. But out comes Jared Braun for the Raiders to return this kick.
Yeah, I suspect the kickoff here for the Rams will probably be squibbed, and I would be shocked if they kick it anywhere near number 80. That's just my thought.
Look at, they're just going to take the ball at the 35-yard line.
Yeah, I get a good decision making there. Obviously saves the clock. That's a positive.
Well, it's on the Langley defense now, and on the Raider offense now. LaBerge out of the shotgun, waves his receivers ahead. He'll take the snap. He'll look to the far side of the field, buy some time in the pocket. Now scrambling, away, trying to get home. It's still LaBerge, wrapped up, thrown down and out of bounds at the Raiders sideline from Noye. As he and LaBerge get up and exchange a little pat in the hat after Noye, who's been pressuring LaBerge all afternoon long, finally gets to the quarterback.
Yeah, especially on three-man protection there from the Rams, so they got good pressure and closed the pocket on LaBerge pretty quick. Also noticing too, we don't see number 55 Sky King on the field. Noye is kind of taken over that role as well, but not having Sky King in the lineup is not a plus for the Rams.
Cam Cross is back out there for Langley. He's been dinged up here today. Second and let's call it 7 here for the Raiders. And here they go. LaBerge looking over the middle. Fires the ball. Braun the catch. First down and out of bounds across the 50-yard line and stops the clock with 49 seconds to go.
Right on the money there. LaBerge to Braun, right just past their own 50-yard line. The good news for the Raiders, they get some positive yards. They're out of bounds, stops the clock, but they've got. You'd have to think they would have to get bigger chunks here with needing 2 scores.
Braun is really trying to gut it out here for the Raiders, noticeably limping after every play. Ball is on the 50-yard line, right hash mark here for VI. LaBerge wants to go quickly. Takes the shotgun snap, no pressure coming from Langley yet. Now he's going to get flushed. Cam Cross into the backfield and sacks LaBerge deep back at the 36-yard line.
Huge play by the Rams defense. LaBerge being a veteran, you got to think he was probably trying to get away from that and stop the clock. Now the clock, they'll probably be forced to take a timeout. That's a costly sack for the Raiders.
Cam Cross.
And we do have a timeout now for the VI, their first of the second half.
LaBerge just waited too long and then was backpedaling, and 35 came and got him.
Yeah, the Rams had actually looked like they had a bit of a delayed blitz there. We might see it on the it looked like a guy came late as they only brought 3, and then all of a sudden some late pressure came from the Rams defense.
Those delayed blitzes can be ultra effective, especially at this level, as offensive lines and quarterbacks alike just really don't expect that kind of scheme. But when you have the coaching staff with the experience that Langley sideline has to dial up those kind of defensive plays at this juncture of the game, that can really wreak havoc on an offensive line.
Yeah, Coach Pope has been around for a long time, obviously with the Rams, and many years with CFL and
Calgary Stampeders standout.
Yeah. And he's got
might be the last time I give the Stampeders a shout out on this broadcast right here.
Well, we need them to beat Saskatchewan, so we'll give them a shout out.
All right, go Stamps.
Go Stamps.
41 seconds to go, and it's a second and forever here for VI. LaBerge, a rocket over the middle, tipped up in the air and incomplete. Blackwell and Clairot on the scene make the play.
Yeah, those two guys have been pretty good now. An injured Raider on the field. It looks like North Rainey, number 1, probably would have got about 12 yards back. He would have been at least about 8 short of the first down there. Now it's third and long way while North Rainey gets attended to.
North Rainey down at the 51-yard line here with 36 seconds to go, and it's going to be a third and what do we got here, man? We got
Looks like about
23
somewhere in there.
So ball game on the line here.
If you're the Rams, you just have to make sure, and they're probably talking,
Nobody gets in behind.
Nobody's behind you. Don't fall for any pitch passes or reverses or any of the razzle-dazzle stuff. If they want to do that kind of stuff, just come up and give them the gain, but not enough to get the first down, and they'll win the ball game here if they can stop them.
Langley Rams trying to punch their ticket to the final. They either take on the Valley Huskers or the Okanagan Sun, who will play from the Apple Bowl tomorrow at 1 p.m. right here on BCFC TV. Don't you dare miss that one. 1 o'clock kickoff. You and my man Blake Roberts, is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
You and Blake Roberts will have the call from the Apple Bowl tomorrow.
I think he's going to leave his Chihuahua at home, hopefully. So
my goodness.
Even though the weather's nice, but I think we'll be doing that tomorrow. So that should be a heck of a ball game. And those two teams, just like these two here,
I might have to tune in for that just to hear what Blake Roberts is all about.
I definitely have to tune into that and definitely give him the gears because he takes criticism pretty well. So. He'll do great. Just ask him; he'll tell you.
Yes.
But no, it should be a heck of a game tomorrow.
It sure should, and I really think that game is up for grabs. So depending on the health of the Huskers, especially offensively. But, I mean, the Sun, unlike any years past, have really kind of been lackluster this year. They really haven't gained any traction. They haven't, been disappointing, but they haven't really been their usual self either. So I think it's really, Valley coming out of nowhere this season to have their best year in over a decade. But I think it's a game tomorrow that's really up for grabs, and either team can win.
Absolutely. I mean, the Sun are built very, very strongly through their defense. Their defense is, some would argue it's in the same categories as Langley's, and I'm sure both would say that. But Sun are built through their defense, and the Huskers obviously with their big guns on the offensive side of the things. And from what I understand, all three are going to be playing for the Huskers. So that's a big plus for the Huskers, and the weather certainly will be good up in Kelowna at the Apple Bowl, so they should be able to throw the ball. So I'm expecting an exciting game as with those weapons, with all the weapons in there.
Owner of the Langley Rams down on track side, Dana Matheson. And you got to think he is excited and has been waiting for this opportunity for his Rams club for over a year now, as North Rainey being carried off the field here for the Raiders. And this does not look good for the standout wideout here for VI.
No, it's too bad. And North has been a huge contributor for the Raiders, and you hate to see that happen for anybody, as he's been very valuable the last couple of years.
All right, 36 seconds to go, and we're just about to get back underway. It's a 3rd and 23 ball game on the line here for the Raiders.
Got to think Mike West or Razzle Dazzle here, I would think.
There's LeBear. She'll draw play to Rhett Williams, and I don't think so. He'll lateral it to West, who's going to try and keep the play alive, but it will come up well short. And Langley is going to head to the BCFC final, as they're going to take down the Raiders 37-26.
Yeah, I was surprised by that. Even if you throw one up in Mike West's territory, you got to think maybe even get a pass interference call or something like that. So a little surprised by that play call by the Raiders there, as it was pretty conservative on 3rd and long way away. But kudos to the Rams defense. They held when they had to, and they've been missing some bodies. You see on offense, we talked about the missing Max Joseph. We talked about
Duncan Little going down in the second quarter.
Sky King I haven't seen much of him in the second half. Those are big losses.
That'll be questions to be answered on what their health will be like a week from today and who their opponent will be, as victory formation here for Tristan Yansu and the Langley Rams.
So the Rams, as we tick down here, the Rams we'll move on to the BC final, which they were there. When was the last time they were? Obviously 2014, I think, was their last visit to the Cullen Cup. But they will host
Bowl
the game.
that year as well, I believe.
Canadian Bowl that year against the Saskatoon Hilltops. So
bit of a mismatch in that final Canadian Bowl, however. But
yeah, the Hilltops were pretty tough that year. But the Rams, they will host the Huskers if the Huskers do prevail in Kelowna, and if not, the Rams will be headed up to Coquihalla to visit the Sun and for the BC final.
Let's just hope Blake Roberts absolutely blows it tomorrow, and if the Sun win, then maybe I head up to Coquihalla. Either way, I'll be here in Langley if it's the Huskers, as the Rams will celebrate as the clock hits 000. What a ball game here from McLeod Athletic Park tonight. And the Langley Rams with a 37-26 victory over their rivals, the Vancouver Island Raiders. in a classic here tonight. What an excellent football game. Just a ton of great plays. Javon Katoy, though, 4 touchdowns for the Langley Rams, and just a monster night for the big wideout.
Huge night for Katoy, and that's what you expect out of a guy like that. And I mean, I think we have to give continued props to Tristan Janssen. I mean, that is a tough position to be thrown into in a playoff game, and your starter, your guy, the guy who has led the league in passer efficiency and whatnot goes down, and you're thrust into that. So, I mean, I tip my hat. Javon Katoy is a stud and a star player, so you expect a lot of that type of performances out of him. But for a guy like Tristan Janssen to come in a position like that and play like that and not be phased, and even when he made mistakes, he was more than willing to keep throwing and keep his head up and keep his composure.
4 touchdowns to go along with 246 yards receiving for Javon Katoy, and a lot of that helped by the delivery of Tristan Janssen. What a performance he put in after having to come in relief of Duncan Little, and steers the Langley Rams into the BCFC final against either the Valley Huskers or the Okanagan Sun. We'll find that out tomorrow, 1 o'clock kickoff from the Apple Bowl. Make sure you check that game out live right here on BCFC TV. Blake Roberts and Tyler McLaren will have the call for you. I will be tuned in to that one for sure, as I'm sure you will as well.
You'll have to show me where the mute button is, though, just in case.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll be texting all game long as well. Handshakes underway here from McLeod Athletic Park. Once again, your final score: the Langley Rams 37, the Vancouver Island Raiders 26. Rams are in the final. We'll find out who they play tomorrow. And thanks for joining us here on BCFC TV, powered by Kahuniverse.com and Treeland Remax from Langley and Surrey. For Tyler McLaren, I've been Jake Kelly. For everybody downstairs at 10 Feet Sports and Entertainment and BCFC TV, for the Gridiron and the Pigskin, good luck in the finals tomorrow.